can't really talk from a Merc perspective, but I'm seeing a lot of old. There's a lot more models on eBay. There's a lot of older people
Yeah, there are.
whinging, and there are a
There
lot of
are.
people whinging and quitting, and there are a lot of new people at the same time
Yeah.
on
Yeah, I
Reddit
agree.
and things like that, saying BattleBox games, 25 points, that kind of level.
There's a lot of I've seen a lot of interesting people who've avoided the game for a while and coming back to it. There's a lot of people who are now taking it up because it seems like an easier way in, and the game seems much more accessible now. There's loads of it.
Yeah,
There
I
is.
agree.
It's all angles, and it's interesting at the same time. But I'm not even going to say I'm not an old hat, but
I think there's a lot more new players than there are people leaving. I think the people leaving think they're going to trash the game by leaving, and they're just not.
But I'm seeing in local communities where it was thriving at one point in Mark II, they're almost dead.
Oh, really?
There was a tournament at Milton Keynes on Monday. Really, had a really good, strong community, kind of like entry level to mid level play. And Matt Townsend probably being the pinnacle of that sort of skill cap there, and it's
so effectively.
And it's kind of died.
Wow.
I don't know how many sign-ups they've got for Saturday, but at one stage it was just one of my mates, and there were 4 going down. There's 3 now going down, well, because I can't attend because life, the universe, and everything like that. I must say, I'm loving the models. I'm loving everything like that. But when I'm trying to build 50-point retribution lists, I'm just pulling what's left of my fucking balding scalp out. Seriously, 50 points is not fun to build at.
No, I disagree.
From a horde perspective,
I played.
Maybe it's better. From a War Machine perspective, it's a choice between: do I run support heavy? Do I run a good infantry or jack?
I think 50 points and much as
It's not 35. It's very close.
Yeah, much as in Mark II, we might have mocked this. 50 points, you have to start thinking, okay, do I take a minimum unit so I can actually field
Same as
stuff?
35. Same as you always used to do for 35.
Oh, I think it's actually tougher.
Yes.
I think the choices that you have to make are so much harder.
Maybe because hordes you were already committed. So I'm not running any more beasts than I was before.
Yeah.
So to me, this game has not drastic from a horde's point of view. I think that's maybe what you meant, Benj. It hasn't massively changed. Maybe we should start a podcast. Where's Alex? Because this is better to talk about sort of in the thing. But I'm finding that I just I like the extra war beast points. I like how it works. I like how it runs, and I've just not. There's not running more. I'm running about the same.
See, whereas I'm finding with my lists, rather than running a single colossal, which is I feel like I'm throwing resources away if I play a colossal. If I play 3-4 heavies, though, the amplification of that on the battlefield is ridiculous.
It is, and there are factions that can do that, but Retributions, Warjacks are slightly overcosted, and they don't do a lot.
I played against Rhett at the weekend at 50 points.
Yep.
He ran Virus 1.
Yep.
And he had, I'm going to have to remember now. Oh, crap. The second generation Jack with 2 swords. So a big sword, a little sword.
He's in everything. Imperatus.
No. Second gen, so no shields.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Sorry?
Not Shirar, the other ones. The second generation. Yeah. No shields. The one with no shields and a big sword and a little sword.
Banshee. Sorry.
Yes, there's a Banshee, there was a Manticore, there was is it the Griffin one with the shield? What's the one with the shield? The little light with
shield
the shield.
and halberd. Yeah, that's the Griffin.
So Griffin, and then 3 mechanic guys.
Yeah, Arcanists.
Minimum Sentinels with UA, and two of the 4-inch reach on the charge, nasty dudes.
Benj?
Yeah.
Just quickly, you know this email you've had? Is there a link to a web version of that email?
No, it's newsletter only.
Yes, but there's normally if you're having trouble viewing this.
At the bottom.
Let me just say it. No.
Really?
Yeah, it's just asking me if I can unsubscribe to it.
Damn.
Privateer.
It's alright. It's alright. I haven't had it, so.
No, I'm looking.
I will forward it.
2nd of August.
It came about an hour ago. Privateer press mailing list.
Nope.
Available.
I've got one from yesterday, but
tomorrow.
I haven't got the not one from. I haven't got anything from today. I got one from yesterday.
It has appeared in my promotions in
Google. Yeah. So you can go.
Let me just try and
mine
forward
doesn't go
this.
through Gmail, so.
I'll forward it.
Cheers.
What's in store at Gen Con?
Nothing. Who are you? Are Kurt Hansen, which I don't have.
kjhansen@gmail.com.
KJ Hansen.
Thank you very much.
@gmail.com. Okay, hopefully this works. If it doesn't, just shout. I'll try again. There you go.
Shout?
Are you leaning in to try and eat your microphone bench?
No, it's a reasonable discount. I can't speak.
It's a reasonable biscuit. I'm not trying to eat it.
It's a reasonable Viscount.
Reasonable biscuits.
Biscuits.
I will say, going on the topic of Viscounts, someone actually at one point believed that they didn't make those anymore, and I said, no, they definitely still do. We went through an embarrassingly long argument to determine whether or not Viscounts still existed. The next day, they turned up from the wholesalers with a crate of Viscount biscuits for me.
Wow. That's but getting back to the Warjacks that you just mentioned, while you all stare at that.
Alison Jakes.
Well, I tell you what, actually, the sculpts. I know a lot of people have. There's been some and ahhing about the sculpts, but I quite like these. Apart from Malakov.
The only thing I don't like about Malakov is his legs.
He is far too static in the leg department.
I actually think that if they'd based it off his concept art, it would have been a better piece. And by that I mean the one where he's actually sort of pulled the Winter Guardsman across him as a bullet shield.
Yeah, that is amazing. And at the moment, he looks like a crappy M. Bison.
Tristan Durant as a full warcaster.
Yes.
Yes. Everyone except Gaston, is getting a.
Why?
I don't know.
Is there any reason? Have they said anything?
No.
It's a Beauty and the Beast reference.
Well, I think I know why. I think they're trying to restrict the number of new casters Mercs are getting because
they can use them everywhere.
Mercs as a faction have only just started working together, so I think they're holding off on us the same way they will hold off on minions.
So do you think that it would break it?
I don't think
it's the other factions.
I don't think it would break it. I think that what they're going to do is we're going to see a much slower release system for Mercs because of the amount of testing everything in it has to go through.
Yeah, because it connects to too many things.
Yeah. Especially because now we're starting to see theme forces where we get other factions units. You can now take mercenary trenchers, and you can take mercenary. I think it's long gunners as well. Unfortunately, I would check, but they've not put Kingmaker's army in War Room yet because reasons. Apparently, it's an official release. You'll be able to play it at Gen Con, but there's been no update to War Room. So for once,
when is that update has to happen soon?
Yes, the update has to happen before the weekend. Otherwise, people will be able to will essentially have an unplayable army. They'll be able to go to Gen Con with Kingmaker's armies and not be able to field them in tournaments.
And unplayable casters, because those casters are supposed to be legal as well. So.
Yes. So the update has to happen before the weekend because they're on ADR for the weekend as well.
Yeah. Which is going to be interesting to see anybody trying. I have, but you were saying I can still build at 50 points the old double Mage Hunter, Colossal, and Snipe Feet Go. I can still do that for 50 points. Whether it works as good, I mean, they get one turn of it, but I guess that's a feat turn, so you need to make it count.
Nothing quite works the way it used to.
No, I'm sick of all these lists. Madrak 2.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
Oh, that needs to be. Oh, that needs to be fixed.
I'd looked at him and I thought, doesn't look too bad. Then I heard, I heard all the things in combination and went, oh.
It may be because I've started watching a retro 90s sci-fi show, but he is a dream given form.
Oh God. You
know what? I played him, and I played him fairly defensively. Didn't rash him in to try and charge and stuff, and he's still amazing. I can't die. I can't die. I can't die. It's great.
I'm just more impressed that you're watching Babylon 5, but
you know, I asked the question. Do you know online? Do you know what Kosh's first words are in the Gathering in the pilot? It's amazing.
Really? What are they?
Do you know what they are?
I haven't watched The Gathering in you donkeys yet.
No, I hadn't. I went back and watched it day for yesterday. He when he is poisoned, when he meets Jeffrey Sinclair.
Yeah.
Who is the fake Jeffrey Sinclair? He says, "Entil Zar Valen."
Oh, well.
Which is amazing.
Everything's ruined now from then on.
But you never knew what it meant.
You never knew what it meant until
you get to the episode, you kind of go, "What?" And then you get to the episode and you go, "Oh," and you go, "Fuck."
Until you get to Babylon 4.
Is it The Gathering where Delenn is still vaguely male as well?
Yeah. But it's clearly the same actress. It's clearly Mary Fernan, but
yeah. Because they changed the concept for the race from being sort of ambiguously gendered to being more masculine.
Well, the warrior class guy looks like warrior class, but she looks so different, and they made it much better by the time. And there's lots of changes between the pilot and then we're going live with it.
The Gathering didn't air very well, and it hasn't stood the test of time that well.
No, but it's interesting to go back and watch it. I think just for that one line.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, B5 has suffered tremendously because they lost the special effects footage. Originally, the special effects were shot at 16:9 and cropped down to 4:3.
Yeah.
But before the DVD release came along, the special effects studio burned down. And they lost all the 16:9 footage. So what you see is basically cropped or expanded versions of the 4:3 special effects, which is
it got a lot better.
It was terrible.
I know the Gathering was rendered on a couple of Amigas.
Yeah.
Really?
Later on it wasn't, but the Gathering was. Yeah, the Gathering took decades to do it, not hours. But it was all rendered on a couple of Amigas.
Give it another 15 years, and I reckon they'll be able to come up with some kind of stellar remastered version of B5 that will look fantastic. But at the moment, it's just going to look like shit.
It's surprising how many cast members are dead, though. If you actually go
Gary Doyle died last week.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
You've got Garibaldi as your photo, haven't you, Benj?
Yeah. The sad thing about him was...
I googled him mainly to see, because I thought I'd read somewhere he was an alcoholic, and interesting the connection. And I googled him and went, no, he died last week, fuck!
Yeah. And he was a bit of a right-wing radio talk nut by the end, but he was still Mr. Garibaldi.
He's a right-wing libertarianist. What the fuck is that?
Don't ask.
Super right-wing.
Yeah, but it's libertarianism. It's libertarian. What the fuck?
It doesn't mean...
Libertarian in the US has a very different meaning to the British version.
Do you think?
Yes. Okay. Libertarian in the US is closer to what we call anarchy, where you're talking about a severe restriction or destruction of government
Again, so right wing in the US, pro corporate, that kind of stuff.
Gun totem.
Actually, not necessarily pro corporate, more pro market.
Right. Yeah.
So it is the belief that the market will always correct. I'm sorry, this has gone very philosophical, even for a pre-show thing.
Well, can we just go back to Babylon 5? because that bit when they start talking about the shadows and they're in the fucking room and that bit and the bit where they start talking about ancient Earth history and World War II and how Churchill had like the choice and it was just like
Coventry,
shit's coming and the Psychor and all those storylines that were never expanded on.
I do think the most fantastic episode of that show is the one where Oh, the second captain of Babylon 5.
Sinclair.
Sheridan.
No, Sheridan. Yeah,
Sheridan,
Sheridan, not
yes.
Sinclair.
Where he's been captured by the Earth forces and is being tortured.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy with the corned beef sandwich who describes
Yes.
his sandwich.
It's an utterly horrendous and awful, but also brilliant episode.
Mm.
And it's one of those that is engraved in my brain.
Somebody on Twitter mentioned the Marcus Neroon fight, and I think that's right up there.
Oh yeah.
Marcus fights Neroon, and Marcus gets beaten half to a pulp fighting Neroon. That was amazing.
That was good. The TV movie was the first one. The beginning was pretty good as well.
I love that. That's so good.
And it is
especially watching the early stuff where we've got Lanier coming in early on, and she's going, "I can't have an age. You won't look up." And I'm like, "Oh, it's amazing because that's what happens in the beginning with her." So good.
Yep. Oh, it was so. It's that series. Dear God.
The one thing though is that after it's 5 seasons, isn't it? After season 4, and I know why, it kind of just falls off a cliff.
If you rewatch it, it's better than I remembered it being. Not that I've got that far this time, but I've watched it again since, and it's much better than I remember. You would know why. They crammed all of it in season 4 because they thought it was finishing and could make season 5, and then they got funding for it afterwards.
Yeah.
But I like what they did, and then changes and stuff, but it would have been better to have 4 spread out into 5 as well. It would be much better.
They ran out of good baddies. The Drac in the Crusades.
Not just that, they didn't think there was going to be season 5, so they crammed the story, the 5-year story arc, into season 4, end of 3, and into 4.
Which is why the back half of season 4 is just so fast.
Yeah, it is.
I can't remember. It's been a long time. I only just started rewatching one.
Get the fucking out of our galaxy, etc.
Yeah.
You pretty much go from Babylon 5 declaring independence to we're.
I love 3. Season 3 is just awesome. Season 3 is the best one by far.
I believe it being listened to by Matt Townsend because he's asked if we're chatting about Babylon 5, and yes, we are.
No, we're definitely not. How dare you?
Yeah. To quote Space, Babylon 5 is a big pile of
shit.
Get out. Babylon 5. I've got a half assembled stuff
this
here.
letter's rubbish.
Up there. Don't go into space. That's a whole. Are we just going to turn this into the TV episode?
Oh.
Talking about TV.
Space
what I should have said is let's give Colour try and see what we think then.
I haven't seen that series in far too long.
And what's weird though, now I've enjoyed watching it again. I watched it again. We watched some of them again recently. But what's weird now is when I watched it originally, I was single and had my own place, and now with kids and everything else, it's a different perspective on the entire thing. I found the house, by the way. I know where the house is.
Really? Where is it?
Oh, the real Galaxy Gardens.
I know exactly. Well, Meteor Street. I know exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, no, there's somewhere else I was thinking of.
I know exactly where that house is. My mate lived in Dalmania Avenue, which is the back of Holloway Prison, in top of Camden, and where Camden sort of meets Kentish Town. And we walked towards the tube, and he just walked me down the street on purpose, waiting for me to see it. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, I know I could take you there without
the living room that Daisy's in the first episode is actually the living room of that building.
I thought none of the interiors were inside that building apart from the hallway.
No, the living room that's in the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
The one that the house she leaves.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah.
That one is the living room of that house.
Yeah, but none of the interiors of the house. It's all the wrong way round for a start. It's just backwards. It's the wrong way round.
Yeah, it's all very weird, but that's a series I really hope that if they ever do anything to bring it back, it is a 5-minute short, and that's it.
There is less than 5 minutes of them with a baby.
I did vaguely
it's
know
on the
that.
second season. If you buy the bigger box set, the special edition box set, there's a very short bit of them a few years later with the little baby. You don't really get much explanation.
I bought the individual DVDs with the weird Phantom Menace cover. Sorry, before the weird Phantom Menace cover, rather, because that was the one that was on the big.
I got the initial double box set. There was one afterwards, and I watched my mate's extras that were on it. I love the subtitles on the second season and the where you can put the geek subtitles on.
Yes, I do have series that did like improved versions of those. It was an anime series, but they had this thing called AD Vid Notes, and there were so many in jokes in the series that like pop-up video on VH1. They used to pop up all the facts on screen about what was flying past at any one time.
Wait, which series was that? That rings a bell.
XL Saga.
XL Saga, yeah. Thought it was that.
But Community is of a similar ilk in a way that it makes tons of cultural geeky references.
Community is amazing.
I still need to watch that of the previous season.
Very good.
The first season's a bit ropey. Or the first couple of episodes are ropey.
Yeah,
and then
it's trying very quickly, but you're right, the first few are a little bit, what?
Yeah.
It's once they get a handle on how bonkers they can be that it kind of...
really, the paintball episodes are all good, all of those are brilliant.
Yes.
And the Halloween's are good.
We should probably get together some sort of plan for this episode, I suppose.
There's a new Beer Moth preview.
Oh, Matt, we won't stop talking about DVDs. Don't worry.
Can we, since we're a few of number, can we try and keep it a bit shorter tonight, or are we going for the full hog?
I suspect it will be a bit shorter, just naturally, because we can talk about all the new preview releases, what we think about the new casters coming up. I'll be honest, there's no kind of... I don't have any plan for a topic. If anything organically spawns, oh well. Then we'll do spelling it out and any other business.
AOB.
If that's all right with everyone.
Yeah, why
not? So the things that I've got to highlight as new releases are we've got the new Behemoth, which that looks like a big bugger.
Something like that.
Looks a bit chunkier. I like that.
Chunky monkey.
Now, one of the I haven't seen. I knew they were coming, but I hadn't seen before the two-player battle boxes.
What do you mean you haven't seen them?
I mentioned them before.
Okay, so we can skip those.
Well, you were saying, you said at the time, let us not hypothesize about these, but I'd seen them, and then I think we touched on them actually in another episode.
Okay, we can skip those.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
I think we've done pretty much everything else. We've got Bloody Buccaneer Bruscar. Naturally.
Oh yeah. Just looked at that.
God, the Privateer Insider feed is just... it is terribly organised.
Drop that, didn't mean to drop that.
Errata!
Oh yes, that's what we talk about. I did panic when I saw Madrak's name.
Yeah, no, don't take away Berserk, don't take away Berserk.
They didn't.
What was there much from that errata? I can't honestly remember.
Was the true site has been slightly reworded in a way that I can't understand.
Cloud and
it's
no stealth, ignores clouds.
Does it ignore cover and concealment?
It never ignored cover ever. It doesn't ignore concealment anymore. It just ignores clouds.
It doesn't ignore concealment. It just ignores clouds when determining line of sight.
Concealment away, I think. I think that's what they've done. But you ignore clouds, ignore stealth.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, you ignore cloud effects when determining line of sight, so you can still get the concealment from them, but you can shoot things through the other side.
Ignore cloud effects would ignore concealment, wouldn't it?
No. You ignore them when determining line of sight, but not when determining what you're running to hit.
Oh.
So you still get the concealment. That's the traditional way of doing it. It's really weird.
I see.
I'll be honest, most of the stuff in the errata is pretty ignorable. It's
a lot of typo corrections and stuff.
It's a lot of editing.
I think it's worth mentioning just so that people are aware that it's out there.
And that we've read it.
Not that most of our listeners will have missed it, but might as well.
Matt's furiously gone to find it now.
Shield. Add the shield icon to the devout shield. Oh, that's slightly terrible. Or
Well,
giving an extra 0.5 inches of range to Karchev's open fist.
that was nerf patch ages ago, wasn't it? They didn't. Sorry, it was stealth patched. Sorry, a while ago.
Yeah, that was a rules forum one.
Yeah.
Can't remember. There wasn't much that got actually changed for mercenaries. It was like flank, gang fighter, tactician, humulator. Oh yes, Ram got taken off something because it didn't actually work. Oops. Yeah, we had Cleave taken off a model that had takedown.
Right.
Yeah. Cleave. If you destroy a model, get another attack. Takedown. If you would destroy a model, remove it from play instead. So you can never take the second attack.
Dun dun dun.
It was terrible.
And before we actually start, I've done something that's quite just in Matt's tweets. I've been cycling 2 nights in a row.
Good lord.
Yeah. I did
Right.
12. I did 5.5 kilometers last night. I did 13 this evening.
You're not becoming some sort of health freak, are you?
What, in 2 days? Probably not. But you do some exercise.
Cast him out!
I put a bit of weight on. I don't like it.
You're getting rid of the extra tyre, are you?
Shut up. I don't want to call it that.
Oh god, where's the full insider articles on those? Okay, that's Ilara and Malakov. Because there's better pictures of the casters in those. Ah, the privateer insider feed is the worst. I pressed the next page and it's still got Ilara and Malakov at the top. Just why? Why is there not just a privateer insider page where I can see these? No.
Because no.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to go through the forums.
Well, that's a sad state of affairs.
I know it means potentially exposing myself to people on the forums and just no.
All the hate.
So that's
10,000 years of hate.
I was going for a Killing Joke actually, but my mind was going then rather than that.
Yeah.
Oh, watch the Killing Joke the other week.
I watched that. I was talking about the band, but I've also watched Killing Joke. It's very good.
Went to the cinema. First 40 minutes was weird. Because this is not from the comic.
When it's preamble, but that's what happens before the comic.
Yeah, I kind of get why it's there. I mean, it's there so that people who haven't kind of...
Well,
caught up with
context
everything. Yeah.
is nearly 20-something years old, so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's preamble.
The weird bit, though, is the added sex scene that's being looked on by a gargoyle.
The gargoyle's pervy. I like it.
The amount of laughter that got in our cinema was...
You saw it in the cinema. That's awesome. I didn't know it had a cinema release.
Yeah, I went to the cinema. We had a preview bit with Mark Hamill talking about why he'd come back for the role. Then we had...
He said he wasn't going to do it until they did that, I thought.
Yeah, then we had the actual film. Then after that, we got like a 10-minute thing on the soundtrack. And everyone who attended got a statue of the Joker.
Awesome.
Which for 15 quid wasn't too bad.
No, can't complain at all.
Okay, is that all of them? So I've got Ali Jakes, Durant, Iarkos, Ilara, and down the bottom, because he only gets like 2 pictures, Malakov.
Are they all the character juniors, or is it my imagination?
There's only Gaston left.
So are the character juniors not character juniors anymore?
No, they are. They are. They exist like Haley 1, Haley 2.
Yeah,
So this is like epic versions that are full warcasters,
Yeah.
right?
So these would be Iarkos 2 and Durant 2.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't take the 1 versions in the same army
No.
because that would be weird and Haley-ish.
Yeah, very.
It's weird though because the other ones aren't technically full warcasters or warlocks.
The other ones aren't what?
They're not technically warcasters or warlocks.
There aren't any warlocks.
No, there are. They're
Yeah, you've got the blacksmith in Trolls.
Are you Owner, the Falconer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing. I'm scrolling down and.
They're not coming out. They're not coming out now. They're coming out at the next major convention. Yeah.
They're not previewed yet.
No.
But also they're doing. Oh, that's quite interesting then. I quite like that. I'm looking forward to the blacksmith. Is it, am I still here? Are you still there? What kind of happened?
I don't know. It kind of Mike's frozen in terror.
Frozen in time. Frozen in terror and time and space and lethargy. Cool. Alison Jakes.
Oh, he's still stuck there. What is going on? What is going on?
The world doesn't end. We're all going to die.
No.
Something.
No, but then you got like Fianna coming out as well. She's gonna have a full warlock version. So.
He looks like Junior Irisk, doesn't he?
He does. It's really not very satisfying.
Irisk 0.4.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to Elite Cadre.
It kind of broke.
I'm looking forward to the. I can't remember his name right now. I can see him. Horgle.
Yes,
is
Horgle and Strike.
Horgle with if he has cheaper. I know it isn't in the new version anyway, but if he has any kind of affinity with the Pyre and if he maintains that, that'd be awesome.
Oh, that stuff has been the death of the Vanguard. Losing that point discount on
the Slag
Gaspar.
Troll. It's taken me ages to realise how fucking amazing he is now. He's got extra dice on his melee attack as well as his range now against constructs.
Ugh.
On charge, he's 4 dice, power 13.
Yeah, that's not pleasant.
Yeah. For like 10 points. Get in there. Bring down a frickin' heavy.
It's like when I realised that the Mangler, despite everything else apart from like one character jack losing it, still has aggressive. So in a world where it gets free focus, it still gets free charges and runs.
Wow.
It's absolutely nutty. And the fact for Mercs that it's +1 def on all the other jacks, and has Thresher. Yeah, having McBain have that thing make like 7 attacks a turn, just filth, utter filth.
I think it's interesting these things are gradually, you could have read it to start off with, but only when you come to put itself on the table, you go, that's really good.
I mean, I looked at the Rover in this edition and thought, it's all right. Then I put it on the table and went, oh, okay, yeah, that works, because it's now a kind of Merc primary range jack. And also a big, heavily armoured bastard. The fact that with McBain's armour, the one that prevents systems going down, it's armour 22, standing out there at the front with a 1-inch melee range and 3 attacks on the charge.
What?
You lose a point of power over the other ones, but in Mercs that's not a problem because you just go, okay, Rust Bomb, Ragman, go. It's effective power 21.
Jesus. It's obnoxious.
This is why I have kind of whole other discussion. Anyway, shall we begin?
Welcome to Elite Cadre.
There's not many of us.
There you go. That'll do as an intro.
That's it.
We need some ripping yarns quotes.
Hello and welcome to Elite Cadre, the War Machine Hordes podcast that doesn't take itself too seriously. I'm Mike.
Okay, this is weird now. Alex isn't here to interrupt, and then he's not here to say his bit. What do I do now?
It's amazing.
I'm not Alex, so okay. I'm Kurt.
I'm not Alex either. I'm Benj.
And that's it.
Oh, can we make this a regular thing?
There's no Nick. It's so nice.
Only if I can talk about Babylon 5.
No, that's me.
I never really got into that. Is it good?
God.
Let me tell you a story. In the beginning.
Who are you?
All alone in the night.
So.
There is a hole in your mind. What?
This is just going to be the Babylon quotes episode, isn't it?
Might be a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Yes. So, thought we'd start off with a little bit of news. Yes, we're seeing the promotion of most of the junior warcasters to full warcaster status.
They obviously got good behaviour or something.
Yes. Either that or it was the plan all along because, quite frankly, Jake's at the end of War Machine Tactics is a full warcaster.
Oh.
I didn't play the end to the end myself. I kind of stopped playing once I realised it was just the beta at that point, and I've never gone back. I will do at some point.
I never played it. I like the screenshots. I never played it.
Yes. So the first one we got is Alison Jakes, who is now full Signal Warcaster, as stated, with 2 swords.
Yeah, big sword, little sword.
Yep.
Top box. Sorry.
Well, quite. Some people have been saying these are the tips of the spear that Sturgis had, made into swords.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah.
Those are his speary bits.
Yeah, because obviously he dies and goes to Crix. It's an interesting sculpt. I'm not entirely convinced by the posing, I have to say. I feel like there's something about that offhand that is slightly badly positioned, or like she's in the middle of a Mexican standoff that we can't see.
It does feel like that. She's doing a bit of a groove kind of look in my. It's a bit of an interesting look. Let's put it like that.
I will say that there's a couple of other poses in the collection of preview art that they gave us that I think I would have liked more. And in honesty, the pose sketch for the one they chose looks a bit better. So I don't know if it's just an awkward photograph. Hey, it wouldn't be the first time. The one of Ashlyn is equally bad as a photograph. The model is actually slightly better than that because it's just posed so weirdly and photographed from a weird angle. It doesn't show off the model well. Recurring theme at Privateer occasionally. Please get a better model photographer.
Oh, harsh.
I can only say it as I see it. So... they have some fantastic models. They put some fantastic paint schemes on them, and for whatever reason, the photos they take for the actual model pages, some of them are quite unflattering to the final model. Some are quite good, but there's quite a few that you sit there and go, this is not how the thing looks. But anyway. Some very nice concept art. Some very nice character art to go along with it. By Jeremy Chong of Jake's fighting off a load of Mechanothralls as well.
Okay.
I'm conscious no one else is commenting, so I must be saying some absolute fried gold here. So.
I haven't seen the picture, so I can't comment.
I quite like the actual. The pose and everything. of the first piece of concept art where she's actually sort of standing there quite defiantly, looking down on a mechanothrall with both her daggers at her arms, and I kind of wish they'd gone from that. And after I saw that piece of concept art, which was in the last no quarter, I kind of like lost a bit of interest in the model. There are better models in that entire list. There's that we'll get to probably, but I love her as a character, despite her terrible voice actress in the game. Which is
can't comment. So
well,
when I played it, there was no voice acting. So
it's like a posh tracer, essentially. It's very
Posh tracer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird.
yeah.
Tracer being from Overwatch, Kurt. It's a video game that they play.
Oh, I was on the person that puts the ink on top of the comics.
No.
You tracer. Sorry.
Yeah.
And derogatory comment as well. Actually, obviously, it's
And Benj, before we go any further, you are banned from Tracer impressions.
Really?
Yes,
I've been doing a lot of them.
Tracer.
I'll bleep them.
Okay.
Or I'll
like
make
an esports athlete.
or like I did for Alex one episode, I'll make you sound like a chipmunk.
Well, that's obnoxious, really.
I sped him up
Too late
1.4
now.
times. Okay, so that's Alice and Jake's. It should be sort of announced as well. These are going to be available over Gen Con weekend from the Privateer Press store. I believe alternate sculpts to these will be coming out later as full releases.
I don't know about that. No, nobody's actually said anything regarding that, Mike. So that could be scuttlebutt.
Yeah, the characters will eventually be reaching full retail, but initial release Gen Con, and we have had it confirmed that is their official release.
So Gen Con, so they're table.
They are tournament legal from Gen Con onwards, and they at Gen Con and Gen Con alone they will be ADR legal as well.
Good.
Okay, so the next one on the list is Sovereign Tristan Durant.
Sovereign. It's a
Yes.
strange name, isn't it?
Ed Burrell calls him the Sith Lord version of his original youthful and fresh-faced self.
Okay.
Interesting. I'll be honest. He looks to have taken some inspiration from Krios.
He does.
I would say a lot of inspiration from Krios.
And a bit from Bumblebee.
In fact, Krios with a big stick is kind of
face, and Bumblebee's face.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're going from that.
This just looks like Bumblebee.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sculpt's okay. I wouldn't say it's changing the world or setting it on fire.
I think it's doing exactly that, though. Yes.
Well, yes, quite. Again, some very nice concept art. In fact, they appear to have some sort of. It almost looks like the storyboards for a cinematic on the page that he's on.
Yeah.
And again, great concept art from PP from was it Mike Viancore?
Yeah, it's two of them. It's the Italian one, which has the
Andrea Uderzo.
Yeah, so he's pretty good.
Yes, and Andrea Uderzo did sort of most of the Forces War Machine books for Mark II. Some very good, large-scale dynamic art pieces with
love it.
Lots of stuff going on. And they actually seem to be... They seem to have used his art style as very much a launching point for everything further. Because if you look back at a lot of the Mark I stuff, there's an art style that's been left behind.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Cartoony style, yeah.
Going for much more sort of realism is a good word for it, but
it's not. But yes.
Yeah, as real as you can be with large magic wielding.
It's more okay. So let's go away from realism. It's a heroic style rather than a slightly cartoony style.
Yes. That's
away from realism because that's obviously has a couple of different connotations depending on how you interpret it. But yes, it's a heroic style rather than the kind of. The Trolls looked a bit cartoony and things like that as well, and some of the other factions did too.
Yeah.
Early on.
But the sculpt itself, perfectly fine. I dare say that the 3D render that's on the page actually looks better than the fully painted version. I think because of the positioning of the wrist, and because he's got his spear very much sort of pointed forwards with the 3D render, but it's almost going back on himself in the actual model. So I don't know whether there been some construction issues there or last minute changes to the model. Don't know.
Yeah.
But I think with a little bit of repositioning, which should be fairly possible with that kind of model, it can look as good as that 3D render. And yeah, it's
It will set the world on fire, indeed.
Good, solid Menoth model that has the usual fiddly bits that good painters will love.
And fjords, yes.
Well, quite. Next up, we have the Predator. Iarkos. Oh, come on.
Yeah, he's always been. His one is. So Doug Hamilton is it that's done the sculpt for that one?
Yes.
It was going good. It was going good. The concept art is amazing, and then there's lots of discs that are supposed to be like armor, I guess, and they kind of look a bit silly on the 3D sculpt.
Oh, it's sort of like a circular scale mail.
Yeah.
I can see what you mean. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting sculpt. I can see where it's going. It's perhaps a little busy for my tastes, because you've kind of got this big billowing jacket, and then you've got that sort of circular scale mail, and then you've got the chains hanging all over it, and then you've got all the sort of buckles and belts, and the big claw and the spear, and the weird horned helmet and the dreadlocks. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on that model.
There is a little too much.
Yeah, I do really like the concept art, and I think if you kept the painting relatively simple on him and didn't go overboard, I actually think that would look like a much cleaner model.
Mm.
I'm not. I think how they've actually got the version of the website painted up is quite nice. I think it was just toned back just a little bit, because it's got sort of 2, maybe 3 colours that are trying to draw your eye, and they're competing, and it's losing focus.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you cut out either sort of the reds, or switched it back to being one metal rather than gold and silver, it might look a bit more cohesive as a model. But that's just personal opinion. Again, I think you're going to make that look good in any Crix army. Obviously, if people are wondering why we're not giving rules excerpts for these, it's because we don't know.
It's because there ain't none.
Yes. You will find out when we do at Gen Con over the weekend. I presume there'll be some sort of update for War Room.
Can I ask a silly question? Is Gen Con this weekend?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
4th till the 5th? No, 4th till the 7th, sorry.
Yeah, I've been getting constant updates on Twitter from all and sundry about how they're already at Gen Con and they're watching the halls being filled out, and there's Dice Tower going around and previewing new board games, and it's all go.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's Iarkos then. Next up on the list is Elara, who looks elven.
My favourite so far, next to Jake's probably.
The only thing that I wish there was for this model is that the original concept art had the goggles up, and I prefer that version. I think everything else absolutely fine. The pose is good, very dynamic. It got they went through a lot of iterations on that weapon. I mean, there's there's eight different versions of her double-bladed whatever. And yeah, they came up with a good version. It looks fine. It's good.
Yeah. I must say there was something when I noticed in her concept art that she seems to be running through branches, which is a
Okay.
bit which is a bit weird. If you have a look at it, it just seems a bit weird. Like, can stealth mean? I think she's got stealth for a start.
It looks like at least some members of her group are doing the Naruto running through the tree branches thing.
Yeah.
There's a quick anime reference for the real nerds amongst you.
Yay.
What?
Yeah, you don't need to know. You don't want to know.
See, the thing is, I used to think I was an anime nerd, but you've definitely surpassed me on many fronts. I've not kept up to date with it.
Yeah.
I'm a retro anime nerd. That's what I am.
Yeah.
If it was made in the 90s or the 80s, I'm all over it.
So all over it.
Fair enough. So yeah, again, not much to say about Elara, except it's a good dynamic sculpt. Again, concept art by Jeremy Chong, which fits in well with the new style. Yeah, not much more to say.
Doug Hamilton again doing that one, and pretty good.
Yep,
pretty damn good.
He's generally a good sculptor.
And this is the Irisk 3 essentially, or he's the odd one out, I believe. He's sculpted by somebody completely different.
Erisk 0.4, I think we decided earlier on, didn't we?
0.4. His legs don't match his body and don't match the concept art. I don't think the sculptor got the memo, really. They just someone just said M. Bison and emailed it.
Carlos Castaño.
Yeah.
I think the issue with the piece is you've got a dynamic coat because it's clearly blowing against him, and he's in the middle of action because his sword down his side. He's clearly aiming with his pistol, but the problem is that if you kind of lop off the sides of the image so you can't see his arms or the coat, he's got a very rigid central body.
He's mid-pirouette.
Yeah, his feet are together, and he just looks like if he fired, he'd topple over backwards.
Yeah, he doesn't fit Cadre. He doesn't, even with the armor and everything, he doesn't fit that kind of.
I think he's just not very novel and new. I think he fits Cadre. It's just not very novel.
Really? I thought we got past this with Cadre. This kind of.
I actually think, and I said this before the show, I will say it again now, I think it would have been a much better model had they used the illustration that was it Svetlin Velinov did beforehand, which is a really dynamic piece where you've got Malakov firing into the distance with one hand, but with the other, he's pulled in the nearest Winter Guardsman to use as a bullet shield.
Yeah, that's dynamic.
It's a fantastic piece of artwork, and I think if you could capture something like that of how he's obviously pushing forward, determined for the cause, but he will do it at any cost. And that perfectly captures what Malakov has been said to be. And I'm not sure the model does.
No. If we're going for that, I mean, a lot of the casters, even Harkovich has a lot more character with his Ica goggles and giant ham that he's carrying, metal ham.
I actually think that if you could somehow separate the legs and either repose them or put some different ones on so that he's in a more planted stance, a little bit lower down, that he'd work a lot more.
I might use Irisk 2's body and or legs at least, and maybe repurpose some of the top end of the model. But then again, no, I'm looking at it now, and it's not just the arms are so static as well, so rigid. There's not even any bend in that pistol. Even if they'd have had him a sort of like slight hunch, and he's like with the pistol, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like McCree is at the moment in Overwatch, just to get that in.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just not as dynamic as the rest of them. He just looks like a sore thumb. That's not a centerpiece of an army. That's a stick.
But
sorry, I'm a bit passionate about that one.
So
no, Cadre was certainly my first faction. I don't know, was it yours, Bench?
No, this was second faction.
It's the first faction I fought against in any serious number of times.
Yeah, Cadre was always my first faction, and it is slightly disappointing to see them get a model like that. I'm not saying it's the worst model in the world. Don't get me wrong. It's still got a Cadre and aesthetic, and I'm sure good modelers and good painters are going to make something of it. I just think that what we're being presented with so far, it's a little bit frustrating because with a little bit of effort, it could be much better. I think that's generally always the thing with something like this when you see a new sculpt comes out that you're not quite happy with. It's not that it's bad. It's just that you think it could be better.
It's the first one in a long time that I've been like, eh.
Yeah.
I love Tristan Durant. He looks amazing. I love Jake's, even though she looks like she's disco dancing. And Alara Death Shadow that's the best. That weapon of hers, fucking the Grim Reaper with giant anime electric blue hair. And someone said a traffic cone coming out of her back, which I'm kind of tempted to do. I like the Brett armor, but that one looks like a traffic cone.
I will say as well, for anyone waiting for the preview of the Mercenary Warcaster, there isn't one.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, Kev.
We're not really sorry, Kev.
There will be no Gaston 2, at least not for now.
Mercs are ruined anyway, aren't they? That's what I read.
Oh God, no!
Yeah, they're gone. Really,
Stop.
Well, they weren't really a real faction anyway.
I don't want to have this discussion.
That's fine. We won't have the conversation, but we'll just let Kurt continue to throw this out. But the only thing that I've heard that was, I know you asked me to try and dig through like for scuttlebutt about rules for these guys, but everybody's hoping that she comes with, because she's a duelist, she comes with like Field Marshal, parry or something for her jacks, Alice and Jakes. Whether that...
Oh, that's just rude.
It is obnoxious, and considering Hunter's lost parry, that'd be very nice. Just saying. I miss parry on Hunters.
Yeah, the ability to send a Stormclad through the front lines as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know that nice jack at the front with reach that you used to block stuff from getting to my back lines? I'm just going to charge past it, that's fine.
That was the other thing as well that people were saying to salty Merc players was this could basically be Ashlyn 2 for you. Sorry about that.
Potential. We do know from Jason Souls there is an Ashlyn 2 coming. Ashlyn 2, Heart of the Resistance.
Heart of the Resistance.
Yes.
Resistance. Is it French? Is it very French? The Resistance lives on.
I was going to say, the Resistance is very much a combination of French and Welsh.
Welsh. I was going to say, Lael is very French and Welsh combined together. Always has been.
Are the Leek and Taff carrying?
I like Lael. I like Lael a lot. And it's the one thing that could really...
I like Lael, but I didn't see the Welsh. I just imagined France.
If you look at the place names, there's certainly quite a good chunk of Welsh in there.
Yeah.
Does their history bear any resemblance? There was a lot of assassinations. There were a lot of I was
going to say they kind of are to Signar as at one point Wales was to England, but
that's valid. That's what I was thinking of, the conquering and the It's I like Lael. I was when Escalation came out, I loved that book. I was bought into into Lael in a big way when that book came out.
Really those bloody gun mages for them.
And
the Thorn mages are looking sharp.
I could definitely get into Mercs if I was focusing everything around Lael and Resistance, the whole lot.
What's coming up for Lael, once they've got their Trencher and the Thorn mages, you will have 2 3-man units of gun mages with reposition, and a caster with reposition at the same time. Very, very mobile armies coming up for them.
I would really like some nice warjacks, but that's not going to happen because they're scavengers. So
there is at least one more Lilly's warjack that we know exists.
what are you talking about? The high command one that was?
Yeah, the duelist one. It's not the Toro. It's the other one.
I thought they said though that some of those things will never see the light of day with regards to the war game.
Quite probably, but quite frankly, if you're putting out stuff like the pirate jacks, then you might as well put out something else because they're a waste of time. Sorry again to anyone who collects pirates, but really,
No one cares.
yeah, the fact the range jack still needs a loader. Whew.
No,
Oh god.
Yes.
it's not a good place to be a pirate these days, apparently.
Well, no.
Unless you're undead, then it's bully for you, really.
It's acceptable at that point.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the undead, although she's not technically the undead, see how I segued there. We have the beer model for this year.
Yeah.
Doug Hamilton has sculpted what's the actual name for it? Bloody Buccaneer Brew Scar.
It's Scar with a barrel.
And a skull containing beer.
All right. It's I don't know. It's not that.
It's another one of the pin-up models. If you like that sort of thing, go for it. If you don't, it's not worth your time.
Oh, but even the Cadre cheesecake was good.
I've got the guilt lifter. I like it.
Yeah. The keg protector was kind of cool.
Yeah. Druid Gone Wilder.
Yeah. And the brute file was amazing. Love that model.
There's also the Witch Doctor as well.
Yeah. Which never made it to the UK for SmogCon. That was annoying.
Well, you'll be able to order them from the store for this weekend.
Yeah.
So, all the
with PG points? Don't be
no.
silly. Yeah, I know.
I would suggest if you wish to order anything with PG points, perhaps you may wish to speak to Bob.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Much as I will be speaking to Alex about the lack of PG points for the ETC. I'm just saying,
Okay.
Isn't that contagious?
Gave up a weekend of my time, Just little things. All he has to do is tell Bob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bob.
Anyway, enough of personal axes being grabbed.
Speaking of obnoxious things, we were speaking about. Oh well, sorry, Alex, that was not meant to. But Madrak 2, when we were talking about Madrak 2 earlier, have you heard about Resnick 2?
No.
Oh, Resnick 2, Corbeau.
Yes.
Yes.
And a few shield guards and no fun ever.
Are you looking at my boobs? That's what she says.
Madeline push-up rack is now found a new place at the back of Resnick. That sounds really wrong. But if that's the only hard counter at the moment to Madrak, supposedly. Madrak 2, maybe.
Why is it? How is that hard counter, Tim?
Because she's got was it Palais or
Palais.
Yeah. So
basically,
he has to kill her.
He can't be shot, he can't be meleeed, and he can't be magicked. The only way to do it is to get in close enough that you can pay 6 Fury to land an eruption on her.
Wow.
Hasn't she got soccer though?
Yes, but that doesn't work for magic.
The book.
Depends on the range.
Indictor.
Again, but the thing is, you're now naming things that Madrak can use to bounce off to get to them.
Bollocks. Even if it's further away, even if it's in a completely, if you play chicken with this.
Have you seen the Madrak Pac-Man?
No, I don't want to. If someone did that, I'd just fucking walk away. I'm not playing that. No.
I do that to you.
there are reports of him getting 40 models in a turn.
Well, because you get a move and an attack and a fury, and then a move, an attack, and a fury. So you start, even if you start missing or you start not quite killing stuff, you're building up like 26 fury to keep going.
They've worked out that depending on spacing, he can actually cross a 6-inch gap with his 1-inch moves.
How? Oh, well, getting reach.
Essentially moving sequentially closer each time.
Yeah.
And then the last one with the full 2 inches of reach, move an inch, 2 inches of reach the other way. It's absolutely ridiculous and phenomenal.
I want to have his babies.
But yes, parlay for just for reference on Corbeau. While in this model's command range, enemy warrior models cannot target this model or its warcaster with attacks.
Oh, see. So you can't take down Resnick. Oh, so Resnick's worse than Madrak. It's not a counter to Madrak. I thought it was a counter to him. So he's as bad as not worse than Madrak.
Oh no, his spell list got a lot better, and him as a model is.
Hasn't he got all of Fiora 2's old shtick?
Yeah, he is literally Fiora 2 on a horse, but she's going to be Fiora 3 on a horse at some point. So, but she's pretty much hot garbage now. She's got escort, but that's about it. So. Yeah. But yeah, he can be shot with magical weapons, can't he? Though. But then he takes your guards.
No, well, not from within 7 inches, and from outside of 17 inches, only with magical ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a few. Is Madrak a broken interaction, or is it intended? Is this?
I think
in a game that's gone much more. As we were talking about before we started properly, much less infantry. So I found that we'll come back to any of the business what I played at the weekend, but where half of my fire eaters had killed each other, which he's found very hilarious, they then wiped out half of his incinerators. Not incinerators, his long sword guys with armor in elves.
The Sentinels?
Sentinels. So there was nothing for him to try and chain through. There was nothing left. It was because it was all jacks. There was no way he was going to kick off his feet and chain through stuff because it was all dead. And it wasn't like I didn't want to try and do it. It was I want the Sentinels to be there to chain through to get to his caster, but it wasn't going to happen. So it's a quandary.
Of a pickle. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't. You know when you said when this was gonna start that things were gonna die, but things are still not dying a lot. It's only in the extremist cases that things are.
I will say, from the games I've had so far, I've been surprised by the stuff that stuck around.
Armor is the new thing.
Even then, I've had things like halberdiers sticking around to the end of the game when they have no business staying around after like turn 3. It's been very surprising. Meanwhile, I've had Kyazi taken off the board in droves because apparently blast damage is a thing.
Hey.
Good sweet lord.
Yeah.
There is a unit that's not quite its former self.
Not fit for purpose.
Oh no!
I feel so. No, wait, I don't.
I don't either.
I won't say they're not fit for purpose, because with anatomical precision and with their new backstrike rules, they can be terrifying. But half the problem is now delivering them. It is harder to get them there, which it creates a very interesting position.
The game needs new warjacks and new beasts. I'm bored of Retribution's choices anyway. Let me just put that like that at the moment.
Their choice of war beasts, I agree. Yeah, it's crap.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we've got a snake.
Yeah, I've got a snake.
Yeah, we've got a snake that looks at you kind of funny and then eats your face off.
She's still got Wendigo spell, hasn't she?
Oh, I know she's got.
Haunting Melody.
Yeah.
Melody. What?
That's 17-point package. That's a unit almost.
Always was expensive though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The junior warlocks are all kind of expensive, but I will say Snapjaw and Wrong Eye kind of ridiculous.
They're everywhere. It's They
Oh
are
my god!
Are they
literally
expensive or
everywhere.
are they cheaper?
I can't remember how many points they are, but they are phenomenal.
Starcrossed is silly.
Starcross 16-inch range. Ha ha.
It's the fact that you can submerge the Warcaster and the Warbeast and cast Starcrossed.
That is wrong. That is fucking wrong. You
Wrong.
shouldn't
Wrong does not even come into it, my friend.
either or. Yeah. It is everywhere currently at the moment, and it's just
There we go.
annoying.
17 points for wrong line, Snapjaw.
So the same for Delia Smith and Scar, Rhea, whatever.
Oh, and I've just realised they work for Circle. Excellent, that'll go well in the Journeyman League.
Nobody likes Circle. It's fine.
I will be taking the Circle Battle Box for the Journeyman League.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, at the moment, everyone's saying that's hot garbage currently at the moment, but I don't know. I haven't seen any Circle players in quite some time. It seems to be trolls,
I was going to say,
pricks.
when Mark III first came out, the Circle were touted as the people who'd kept the most.
Yeah.
And new tactics like the Slam Dog are just odd and wrong.
Are we in? It feels like we're still in Mark. Well, we've gone back to Mark 1 with silly interactions that every week that something new comes out, the 3 years or 3 or 4 years of touted playtesting in a bubble really just.
But again, I'm going to say I feel like I am a broken record at this point. we had stuff when Mark II came out that had gone all the way through the field test, then went through almost 2 years in the game before it was found out that the rules as written did not work.
Okay.
And if you can go through a full field test and 2 years, you are never going to have that game perfect at release. Yes, Privateer cocked up 2 fairly common, and I suppose this is worth moving on to the errata.
Toy now.
No, this is worth moving on to the errata because there is an errata that's been released.
Before you go into that, you went to Bristol, didn't you, quite recently?
No.
Did you not go to that tournament?
No.
Oh, who went to that then?
I was busy.
You were supposed to go, were you?
No.
I was supposed to go. Oh, okay.
I'm going to go to the next one.
Have you done a tournament yet then?
No, not in Mark III.
I have. We'll go back to that later.
Yeah. Anyway, going back as to before Ben rudely interrupted me
I know, so rude.
with useless information.
That's alright, I'll be quiet.
There were 2 major rules for Mark III that Privateer originally said were working as intended, but have since modified their stand on. This would be flank and gang. Now, originally the rules as written for Mark III were that if the defending model had been knocked down, you could not receive the flank or gang bonuses.
Has that been ripped up?
That's been changed. Now it only requires you to be in melee range of the model, not engaging them. So you can now get the
see, because you can't engage the knockdown model, can't be engaged.
Yeah, there appeared to be some. I'm guessing that the definition of engaging or engaged was changed at one point, and it caused a weird snowball effect that just kind of broke a lot of things.
It's good to have a hobby and break lots of things.
Well, yes. So for the start of Mark III, we do have a 13-page errata document. However, the amount of repeats in that document mean it's probably about
True size, especially.
That's it. Most of it's true sight. We can carry on.
True sight, flank, gang, charge.
Your mum.
Various commas, full stops, and
Trample has been changed.
Did that get a comma?
No, because trample as written, because of where you ended, you'd always get the backstrike bonus going through. That's been changed. You now need to be in the front arc at the back arc at the start of the trample.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Wow.
Assault has been slightly reworded.
Does it make sense now, Assault?
It did work originally-ish, but it's now been clarified, so...
Hooray.
Yeah. And it also means that a model that starts in melee cannot make an assault shot if they charge. Anything else in the errata that was worth noting? Oh, we've got a... Yes, we have a Sloan feat change.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. She now, instead of original feat, it's been changed so she gets a free spell, which is the +2 range one, fire group, and everything gets an extra shot during its activation, which means you can't now do the first turn run and then feat. So it's a pretty big change. Anything else anyone could pick out?
I've gone through the bits that were kind of relevant to me, and I couldn't see anything that really shocked me.
Yeah, there is the usual sort of changing of things where it really should have said another model, for instance, on Trick Shot as well. Because otherwise, having Kane shoot one model and hit it twice was a bit ridiculous.
After Madra, I think that's perfectly fair. As a Kane 2 player, I think that was perfectly fair. I think they didn't think that one through. And I will be writing a sternly worded letter to...
Times.
Yeah.
In green ink.
Yeah, in green ink. I'll take a 2-page spread out in the Metro as to why...
Very wise. Very, very wise.
Nerf was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And, yeah. How it's brought, it's basically done what the first 3 Star Wars prequel movies did. Just ruined everything.
God.
All 3? What?
Well, Phantom Menace. I don't know. Maybe
stop talking.
Alright, fine. Alright.
It should be noticed as well that there is one very big game-changing errata that's gone on. In that the Swamp Gobbler and Bellows crew can now only make 1 cloud.
Shit.
So you can't have 2 5-inch clouds.
It's alright, true side.
That's how it should
Ignore
be.
that.
That's that. So please be aware, if you're going to play any games in the immediate future, update your war room. Make sure that's...
Sorry. I noticed things like the Mountain King lost Gunfighter, but he didn't have it in the first place.
Yes, because Gargantuans can fire while in melee.
Can they can fire at the target that they are in melee with as well?
Nope.
So Gunfighter would have been a boon.
No, because he could shoot, he could target something behind it because it's only got a spray, so he can hit the thing he's melee with anyway.
I think I'd have to look at the wording on Gunfighter, but I think Benj is correct. It would have to fire a model it is in melee with.
What, with Gunfighter or without Gunfighter?
With Gunfighter.
So without Gunfighter, he can quite happily target something behind the thing and still hit the thing he's in melee with.
Yeah. What it also the only disadvantage it takes away is that you can't take the spray as the charge attack. However,
but he's got assault. So
well, what it enabled it to do previously was to assault in, take the shot, use the spray as the charge attack, and fire again.
I think the way the Gunfighter works.
Whereas what you can do now is assault in, take the shot, hit something with melee. If you kill it, then get a second shot.
I think the way that Gunfighter in Mark 3, I don't think it inhibited what you could. I think it just meant you could. So you couldn't necessarily 0.5 inch if they were within that, you could shoot them. If that's what it's.
Gunfighter's changed. It's not 0.5 inches anymore. It's if you are being engaged.
Oh, okay.
It now means that if someone's got reach and they engage you at reach, and you've only got like a 1-inch melee, you can still actually fire back at them.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't played anything with Gunfighter, actually.
No.
In this whole time. So you've played a tournament, Kurt? Then
I have a very small one, but I have
Jesus,
a 50-point one.
that's medium. That's not small.
No, it was a small number of people.
Oh, okay.
8 players.
Do you want a battle report?
And we don't do that.
I will end you.
We don't do that kind of.
I want to
It's
hear
not that kind of show. It's not
dice.
like.
Dice.
Give us some.
I rolled a 3. Oh, I had to take a picture of one dice roll.
And your opponent shoved their dice up your nostrils.
It was Richard Dean.
In which case, entirely possible.
Yeah. I did roll 666 damage with the Glacier King on melee. It was so nice. Yeah, I had fun. I took Calandra. I took Madrak 2. With Calandra, I took the Glacier. 50 points to the Glacier King, and a bouncer. And champions, because I think champions work so well with the Glacier King and Calandra. Star-crossed, 16-inch range Star-crossed, Def 14 all the time. Champions, it's so nice. Good luck hitting that.
Yeah.
And it worked rather well. I did lose on scenario in the end, but I think I lost to. No, I didn't lose the scenario. I was wiped out, but it felt like a very close game. It was really good fun. All in all, I had some really good fun. I lost against Rich. I won my next 2 games and came 3rd overall. Did have an interesting game against Retribution. That was interesting, like I said earlier on, where Virus and some Jacks and a minimal number of Sentinels. That was very interesting to play Madrak and not just be going for the throat. He camped in the woods and was just trying to judge his charge. Interesting thing, really, around the new Mark III pre-measure rules, where he was pre-measuring and being kind of, oh, can I have your heavy? Can I eat your bomber? And because he was measuring everything, it told me constantly how far away it was, what was going on with that, what was happening with it. And it was kind of, right, I'm just going to move this way. And I swung round into the middle of the table because he was on the right-hand side. He was barely inside the kill box most of the time. He was struggling to keep Virus inside the kill box. I swung in, killed the objective, and then took the flag and sat on it with my bouncer and then moved Madrak over in the last turn. He went, well, that's 5 points. He did charge everything.
So basically, you were eating up his time. Well, so he was eating up his time with measurements and saving you time to do whatever the hell you wanted.
Yeah, it gave me all the information to know. Oh, that's your charge range, that's your threat range. You've told me that because you're measuring that. You're saying you can't quite make it. It's really interesting. It does change that dynamic of because there was always a level of stealth to it before. If you could judge it, if you could look at it, you could measure your control area. You could measure your control area in a way that would make it difficult for your opponent to understand what you were trying to do. Now people just pre-measure and they kind of go, well, you've just told me what you're doing. You've shown me where you can get to. You've shown me that you're just out of range. If I move this way, it negates the fact that you've moved slightly right to the edge of the wood. I'll move round. I'll bomb you anyway. Put a few dents in you and take the objective. And it's just kind of I won on scenario. It was really with Madrak 2, which was quite entertaining. Just defensively, he threw things at Madrak 2 every so often, and of course Madrak goes, what? Playing against Menoth was not laborious to play, Liam, because that wasn't the case. But the 2 armies kind of bounced off each other. It was
what caster was he playing in Menoth? Sorry,
Krios 1.
Krios 1. Okay.
With a core of big jacks and some daughters and some minimal incinerators and kind of fairly usual fare, really. But I do like the Northkin Fire Eaters with the stars all the way through. They killed themselves, people laughed at them, and then they killed stuff. They're just awesome. Just set fire to some of the patrol in the first turn, and they move up the table, and they're in the middle of on the middle line at the end of the first turn, going, "We're on fire ourselves, and we're not scared." That's great. They're so good, and they die, but 2 lots of 7 points. Whoa, and they tend to kill stuff. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's really helped me come on with Mark III, much more confident about the entire game. Tough, I got that wrong a little bit a few times. I forgot the knockdown don't get tough anymore.
Yeah.
And that did catch me out a little bit, but not to the extent that it was really massively significant. As true to form, I made tough rolls when I really needed to, and when it didn't matter so much. Which is what I tend to do with tough. Yeah, I liked it. It was really good. It changed my. I'm much more confident about it. I love the Glacier King. It was just fun all around. So you said about not running a colossal at that points level. Running something that big at that points level is really cool.
Yeah, I'm not ever going to say don't, because there are some where it just actually pays off. I think in the list chicken.
He's a bullet magnet. He was shooting it all the time because nothing else. We couldn't shoot anything else.
It's one of those things like, okay, I've got to take this down, and at 50 points, you have fewer ways to do that.
Yeah. It did die, but very late game. I was trying to weigh up whether I use the champions to keep the Jack out so he could stay alive, and I'm like, but you could snipe the last 7 wounds off of it anyway. It ate through his mechanics to heal up, and I was like, well, I suddenly got 9 wounds I had after eating his mechanics and healing it up, but he still had the Cyclone, and you're kind of going, so I can use the champions to kill the Cyclone, but you'll take the zone, and I'll lose that, but I might lose that anyway. It's kind of, he could have sniped it out with Nemo 3, I think it was, with Sidekick. Yeah, it was good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really good game. I won some Horde's 10th anniversary Horde's dice, which was really cool.
Nice.
Which I think Dom must have got from SmogCon, I think, and obviously doesn't play Hordes. Oh, he plays a bit of Scorn, but he was happy to put 4 of them in. As a prize, I was very happy to get those because, of course, I'm not likely to get them anywhere else. It was very cool.
Yeah. Cool.
And there were donuts. Come to Exeter for tournaments. There were donuts. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it all round. Really good way of. I took my 75-point lists and I tried to cut them down and ended up rewriting them from the ground up, but with the core stuff I really wanted. So I was running Madrak with no stone, no Troll Moses. Actually, I was saying neither list had.
This is a brave new world, Kurt.
Well, there was just no points for it. And when you're at 50 points, it's like the old 35. It's got to be all killer. I had minimal stone in both lists. It was like, well, I want the stone, but I'm not going to put anything else into it. It just needs to be minimal. Just to add to, for Madrak to make the warders armor 21, so that when he bounces hits off onto them, they go what? And for Calandra, just to help with the Colossal, the Gargantuan, and the champions. So yeah, it was fun. Really liked it. Definitely want to play more. I'm going to Cardiff, not this weekend, next weekend, on the 13th, 14th, for the Open Team Tournament.
Ah, yes.
Playing as part of the Mr. Men.
I would have volunteered to help out there. Unfortunately, I'm in London watching. Well, if anyone's seen a YouTuber called Tom Scott, he runs a panel show, and I'm going to watch that. So, otherwise, I would have been there. There we go.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I think that's probably enough for the first half. So, should we take a little bit of a break?
Sounds good.
Yep. And then we can come back with spelling it out. So we'll see you on the other side. I really need a drink.
I had to stop and go get one, actually. It's very hot.
So I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Discuss amongst yourselves what we want to do for spelling it out. I'm going to guess Hordes.
I think something from Cult of Cirrus.
Maybe Trolls.
Does anyone here actually play? Does anyone actually play cock?
No.
Nick will when he's back. Anyway, I'm going to drink. Discuss.
Okay.
He's been derogatory about Nick there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was calling Nick a cock. He was.
Where is Alex? Anyway, no. He's speaking of cocks. No, that's terrible.
I don't know.
So. Okay, I really want to go to a tournament. Just haven't got the time right now.
No, I struggled with it, and it was I'd had the kids a lot leading up to that last weekend, and I just turned around and said, "Is there any way I can have for Saturday to myself?" I had to get the kids up and drop them to their mum for 8 o'clock in the morning to then get myself down to Exeter. So it was an effort, but it meant that I thought I need a warm-up game. I'm really losing confidence in my ability to go play in Cardiff. I need to go to something, and then the guys in Exeter would try to talk me into it anyway. So I thought I needed to go and play something, and it was a smaller game. And I thought, you know what? I thought, ask us to find out if I can, because I didn't think she was away on Saturday for college or anything. She's pretty much finished. So yeah, thought let's just do it.
I'm just going to check our local that I was mentioning earlier just to see what the numbers are actually for the weekend. I know I can't attend, but I just want to see. So we're in 2016. Can't be good when the numbers. I'm still in the top 6, and I think I've only played one game there at the moment. So
What's that?
I'm in the top 6. So of the various rounds that we've had so far. Oh, they haven't updated.
Was it Journeyman? What was it you were talking about?
Yeah. Oh well, no. It's So before we knew about Mark, it was so they track basically all year, like the tournaments, and then have a grand winner, and it wasn't a journeyman, it was just an ongoing, sort of thing that they ran as part of their, thing. The last tournament, I can't actually see any updates on. Okay. Round 1 results. Round 2, so the first tournament was February, so March, there should have been a tournament in April, which might have been cancelled. Oh, yeah, so there wasn't a round 2, but there was a round 3. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's many sign-ups. Let me just see.
So I think I really miss the driving. I must love Chris's events in Oxford. So I think I'm inclined to go.
Oh no, there was a round 2. There wasn't a round 2, but it was very. And a round 3. Round 4 is this weekend, which is still listed as 35 points. Plus 15 for the last game, taking it up to what was a 50 point. At the moment, they've only got one person signed up on the list. It's really bad. Doesn't seem to be pulling in.
Well, that's
interest.
for the Milton Keynes event.
Yeah.
When's that?
This Saturday.
Okay.
It's disconcerting, really, because that if they stop doing that, can't think of a shop quite nearby that would do that.
Oh, which shop is that? So Milton Keynes. What's that called? It's War
Games. War Games.
Yeah.
Workshop. Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah. He's been supporting, and it's the Guardians of Tyr that run the.
I don't know him personally, but I used to before Firestorm really picked up. I used to buy from him, and I bought my first Ford stuff from him. And used to have quite a good sort of email conversation with him about stuff, but I can't say that. I've never met him face to face. I don't know.
No, it's a really good. It's not him that actually runs the tournament. I mean, it's his place.
It's his store, isn't it? Yeah.
It is his store. Now, it's a gaming group that run, and they're both press gangers, but they run tournaments in Northampton and Milton Keynes, and they have one of the biggest X-Wing tournaments as well.
Cool.
That takes place at like a hotel, basically. Every year. I don't know how that's going at the moment. And there's more turnout, it seems, at the Northampton one, but I guess that's in a. Oh, it's not even really. I mean, Milton Keynes, you would think that they would get more. I just don't really want to see it die, but I can't do much to support it at the moment.
Right, we're supposed to be deciding about spelling it out, aren't we? He said about trolls. I can't think what we've done it, trolls.
I don't know. When people start talking about hordes, I just shut off.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's all the same game. I just see it as the same.
Really?
Totally the same game.
It's just. I don't care for the aesthetics. So.
Okay, so. I play both, so I don't distinguish. They're just the same.
How did your BattleBox game go with your daughter? By the way?
So have you opened the new BattleBox? Have you looked?
Yeah, there's a little treasure trove in there.
So I got out the first training stuff, and we got halfway through the training stuff, and we haven't got back to it yet. But we went halfway through the basics, because bear in mind she's 9. We've played a lot of board games. We played Zombicide. We played Super Dungeon Explorer, and those kind of things. So she's aware of that concept, but not the inches, the moving, it's measuring movement. That was something that she struggled with. But she did get it. So I think we've got to go back to it again. She's keen to go back to it again. She's loving the models, loving the Legion. We just need to find more time to play more of it. So
it almost feels when you open that box that the models should be pre-assembled. I know that.
Yeah, it does. I agree. No, I agree. It does.
And I think that would be even more. And that's another thing as well. When you try and explain to people, people still don't understand how who are not used to this understand how models move without like a grid system. They're like, how do they move on the back? Do you just randomly just move things? And it's like, no, you've got tape measure. A tape measure. And you still get responses like that in this day and age. And
yeah.
Like,
So come across it, have they?
No. So Warlocks. Then
I haven't played Ragnar Skysplit. I don't really want to do him.
Why don't we do? He's apparently very good, though.
Yeah, I don't want to buy a Troll Battle Box, so I will buy him when he comes out in his own.
Okay. Good luck.
Whatever that is.
I would like the Retribution one in metal. I can tell you that. The plastic's not. Actually, that's the sad thing is.
It still might be
Troll
plastic.
Battle
The single one might still be plastic. I don't care. I'm quite happy with that, but I just want him on his own. I don't want the battle box.
Well, that's because the Troll one is quite well sculpted and like has come out quite well in the plastic.
Yeah.
The Retribution one's a bit. As I've also seen with Kozlov, and the Signal one leaves one lots to be desired as well. I don't know. Maybe we should do. Maybe we should mock Scorn. What's the other thing? Could do Scorn caster.
Just looking at it, there's a caster that's quite different. It's a reshape, but I still do like Grizel too. I used to play her a lot. And her feat's better again. Grizel 1 and 2 are very similar to what they were. They changed some of the spells, but they're doing the same job as they always did. So they're the same. Grim 1 is the same. Scold is the same, give or take. Magic Bullet, Quicken, Tactical Supremacy, Will Secret, same spell list, same feat. Is he looking at Scorn, you think?
Well, I just wanted to mock them.
I mean, Alex used to, I think, but...
Used to what?
Well, that's no good, he's not here.
What?
Alex used to play Scorn?
Oh, yes, he did.
The only one in Trolls we could do is Ragnar Skysplitter. Because we must have done nearly all the others.
Not in Mark 3.
Yeah, but they're almost all the same.
I've restarted the spreadsheet, I don't care.
Well, I played Madra. We could do Calandra then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just switch off.
No, don't switch off. Be engaged. It's an amazing thing.
I can't engage. I don't play them, and I've very little respect
so why don't
for Trolls.
That's a good thing we could open up with that, because I'm intrigued by this. I think it's an interesting topic of why you see it as differently. So I think we should. Benji and I've just been talking, and I said about Hordes. As soon as you say Hordes, I switch off. I'm like, it's the same game.
It literally is.
And I don't dispute that. It's just the side of the game that I'm not really interested in.
Different factions have different aesthetics, but I don't see a difference in aesthetic between War Machine and Hordes.
I do see a bit of a difference in aesthetic, because the Horde stuff is generally a bit more rough and ready. It is more feral. I mean,
it is even the Trolls. Yeah, Trolls kind of have a.
They're slightly more regimented. They have a military
edge, but it's still rough and ready version of a lot of Signar. Scorn, no, Scorn is quite
No, true.
It's the beast.
regimented.
It's the beast that turned me off. You've got all this regimented armor and all this, and then you got a giant bleeding fucking elephant that's half dead and running at you. That just destroys. I mean, you can, in the old sort of.
We come back because I think this is quite a good comeback topic to lead, and then lead into spelling it out where he can snore.
Yeah, that's fine. I might mute myself at that stage.
Oh God.
Well, I got nothing to. Literally, what could I add?
It's the same. It's a warlock and a warcaster do the same thing. They are the same thing.
I know, but what can I? I don't. I know when you'll spell it out and you'll be like, "What do you think of that?" And I'll be like, "Sounds great." I mean, I don't play it.
Okay, this is the thing, though, Benj.
Yeah.
I have not played the majority of Horde's factions.
Okay.
I still chip in with the commentary on the spells when we get to them because I have opinions on them. I can look at Calandra's spell list and say what I think about Befuddle or Bullet Dodger, regardless of whether or not I'm interested in the caster. If I look at the total package of everything, I can still say, how does this add to or detract from this thing in isolation?
And boobs. It's got boobs.
That's almost bestiality. Really.
It's not. They're people.
Trolls aren't people. Hashtag trollize.
Trolls aren't people.
Weird, blue,
Trolls
noseless
my
people.
God.
They're not. They're not.
Also, Benj, you would be particularly interested in Calandra because her weapon
She's got a big ass as well.
is what you are 98% constituted from.
What? Verbal diarrhea?
Nope, salt.
Oh, okay. Can we get? I want to progress beyond salt. I am.
So determine that you'll be a happier person.
I am. No, I just want to progress beyond salt because there must be something worse than being salty. I'm sick of that. I find that really tame.
I don't understand what you mean.
The hatred that I have is for a lot of things.
You are pure medical grade sodium chloride.
Yeah. Or could salt progress beyond even that?
No, beyond pure literally sodium chloride. It is the purest form of salt.
I know, but maybe they're making even purer.
Okay,
distilled sodium.
Benj, maybe you could be ammonium chloride, which is the kind that is used in Finnish licorice, which gives it a very distinctive burning sensation as well as being salty.
When you eat it and then when you wee later.
Yeah, when it just comes out the end, just burns a little. Lets you know you're alive.
Finnish licorice is, as a result, a very acquired taste. I love the stuff. But
that sounds amazing. I do like salty licorice, actually.
Yeah. Finished it. Oh, what's it called? Salmiakki.
Somebody brought back some of that shit when they went to Europe from work. When they went to one of the.
There is a shop in Lichfield near where I used to live.
That's not Eastern Europe.
Shush. There's a shop in Lichfield near where I used to live that actually did. Salmiakki as part of its not pick and mix, but as it was a traditional sweet shop with jars of things that you could order by the quarter. It was a beautiful place, and their salmiakki was absolutely fantastic. It's not relevant, but it's an interesting story.
Good.
It sounded like you said Selma Hayek or whatever her name is.
I can assure you that salted Finnish licorice and Salma Hayek are two very different things.
Salma Hayek is a gay man warlock.
You're not still on that one, are you, Kurt?
But you brought it up.
You did it first! Anyway, should come back.
You invaded Poland. Yes.
Right, welcome back from the break there. Hope you've enjoyed the same music we've had for the last 70 episodes.
Is it elevator music?
I loved it. It was amazing.
Do you even listen to this show?
I don't think I've ever listened to the show.
I feel betrayed.
Why would
I'd
I listen
listen
to
to
a show
us.
that I'm in
Who
and
are
listening
you?
to now?
What?
Actually, I've had the outtakes played to me. That's what I've had.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm.
We're now going to move on to spelling it out, in which Benj will stamp.
Stay awake.
Yeah, he'll stamp about a bit because he doesn't like hordes and thinks it's.
Well, yeah, I thought that was worth
Okay.
raising that because in the break we were debating spelling it out, and Ben started to drift off when somebody mentioned hordes, and then he said about he just doesn't see it, he doesn't see it as a kind of doesn't get it as a whole kind of game, and I'm like, it's the same game as War Machine. It's all War Machine.
I
We were
mean,
discussing the aesthetic and differences.
I get it when you put a War Machine faction against one of them because it's like, oh, the monsters are invading our, precious lands and we must fuck them off. But when when monsters are just eating the shit out of each other, it doesn't really. The only ones that are slightly, have a story are kind of like Circle and Legion because they do have some. Well, Circle has some humanoid-esque type thing with druids and Legion, they're all, corrupt elves. So, yeah.
See, I'm very surprised by this. I mean, I suppose I can get you being less interested in them, but the "I will fall asleep if you talk about it" is very interesting.
Well, it's half the game.
It's half the game that I don't acknowledge. Like the fiction, I don't read that much about that side of it. I mean, very.
Madrak had a blood oath bond with what was his name? Wraithor? What's the king's name?
Oh, Leto.
Leto. He had a blood bond with Leto that Leto then betrayed and left the trolls' asses hanging out with the school and invaded the first time.
I'm not really bothered.
There's
about that.
quite a lot. There's quite a lot there from the sort of, especially from the very start, and all the no quarter stuff that fell in together, and Madrak being betrayed, and
the storylines that I'm interested in are the human stories, the interactions between the different, the Protectorate and Lael and Cadre, the ongoing battle of the faiths, basically, Protectorate and Signar's relations, especially after the invasion of Sol. And
but if you look at things like you've got the Trollbloods, they are occupying all the spaces in between those nations. Same with Circle, Scorn being the invading force from the east, Legion being the invading force from the north, Minions being wherever they haven't been squeezed out. It's all part of that same conflict.
Trolls are also all through Signar as well as on the main forces that you kind of play, or the forces that I would play, are squeezed out. But at the same time, there are trolls all through Cadre and all through.
You've got Scorn as well, going to take on the elves.
It's because I don't see them as the biggest threat. The biggest threat I see is the undead, which I still think, if you actually look at everything, the undead, once it dies, it comes back as a, whatever. Yeah. That should be the numero uno threat. It should be Torek, but
But you look at Tartarus, people like that. Tartarus was the leader of the trolls who had Madrak's axe, and it's an awesome story about.
That is an awesome story, but it's the undead that is the biggest threat, and everything else that's happening is completely inconsequential. The dragon aspect thing is
okay. If you're saying the undead are the biggest threat, then you've got on the minions side Caliban and his allies.
Yeah, the Gators, right in the middle.
So you've got the Gators who are also raising their own form of the undead, plus Caliban, who is at this point decidedly rather close to getting his wish to become a god.
I thought he had become a god anyway. By the end of the fluff.
I don't know at this point, but Caliban is on the way there. Not Caliban, Barnabas. Sorry.
But they're all feral. They're all not interesting to me. I like statecraft, proper, diplomatic relations and all that jazz. And
trolls are a funny one because you can't say that they're going to engage in the diplomatic craft. They don't have the statecraft. But Trollkin are intelligent humanoid people like humans who are just bigger and one less finger and are just kind of. But they still have their own society. But it is more it is that there is an element that's more feral, that's more shamanistic about their leadership organisation, and the way they organise isn't the same. There's politics in between it though.
Yeah, I know, but it just feels like the story has been mirrored again by, for instance, like the Horde in Warcraft. You know, they're nomadic people that have been abused, that don't have a homeland, or had a homeland that was
That's
abused.
very trolls.
And,
Yeah.
and it's just I think that story's been done before, and I can't, from a fantasy sort of aspect, it just doesn't interest me, because, and the Horde doesn't interest me in Warcraft either, even though they have like lots of rich characters and history. They're feral. I can't get past that, and it just doesn't interest me.
Yeah, I love that. I've dabbled in a bit of Signar. I've got a lot of Protectorate. In fact, I have a ton of Protectorate, but I kind of don't want to play more different. And I had Retribution. I owned Retribution for maybe a year, but I never played them, and I barely painted any, and they've gone now for more trolls.
Because ultimately, in the end, what if they get their wish? What are they going to do? They are a warrior people.
What, the trolls? The trolls just want to survive.
They're not a warrior people.
There are factions within the trolls that do want to just.
That's people like Doomshaper who've been betrayed by Signar, who've said we can't trust humans anymore.
Yeah, so there are two halves, if you like. There's three ways that trolls are split. There is Madrak and those that follow him, who are pro-human, pro-everybody else, but just want the trolls to survive, want them to find somewhere to settle because they've lost the war between Signar and Cadre ripped a hole in the trolls' homeland. It was the Thornwood Forest, is where a lot of the trolls lived, and it's gone.
Yeah, and I know that the second war against Crix has done exactly the same. But yeah, they'll want to live in peace, but it's this dream that's never really going to happen. So they're going to be in a perpetual state of war and continue being nomadic, almost. You know, some elements are gypsy, some of them are Celtic. They're very a mixed match of all sorts of.
I like that.
And
but hang on. If you're saying that they're a sort of a mishmash of cultures, that also applies to an awful lot of other nations within the game.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but they have organised themselves in a hierarchical society, which is functioning, which is very close to sort of medieval. It's lacking the fantasy element, apart from electricity and an overabundance of fire, and up there is very communist Russia. It's I see parallels.
Hang on. It's not communist Russia. It's got an empress.
Yeah, okay. Well, but it's still. Come on there.
It's an idealized version of Russia circa about 1900.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got your Tsars and you've got everything, but it's that again. It's human. I can relate to that. I can't relate to beasts. I can sort of say trolls. I can semi-relate to the story. I'm kind of really boring because I'm grounded in my in my fantasy fiction. If it hasn't got some sort of I mean, I love elves because they're just intolerant assholes.
I love the fact. Yeah, it's human. It's grounded in reality, but I love elves as well. You've got a really interesting dichotomy going on there.
Well, I think it's just
they teeter on the end.
There's an element of preference, though, isn't there? In just in the sense
that is very true.
Some of what Benji's saying, I can kind of get behind, even though we started off arguing. It's kind of Cadre. I can't imagine a world where I would play Cadre. I can't imagine. I have no desire in my entire life to ever play Crix. I'm just not interested. Doing it.
It's like me with Scorn. You can show me those models all day long, and I'll sit there going, "Yeah, okay." I do not care for that faction in the slightest.
Yeah, but I have a reason about Circle. I love trolls to bits, and I really enjoy Menoth. I always like religious fanatics in any game. I have Black Templar for 40k, still upstairs in the loft. I got rid of tons of my 40k. I kept on my Black Templar. I've played religious fanatics in almost every game I've played. I love it.
Yeah, because it's a dark. They relate to a dark time in history that really relates.
No, why? I just like religious fanatics. I like religion.
Oh, okay.
I like religion now. I like religion and spirituality, and I quite, aside from the more modern kind of incarnation of people actually blowing buildings up, I enjoy that religious fanaticism. I find it fascinating.
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing, and it's also something that you'll never be as well. But then again, you'll never be a giant beast, but it doesn't really interest me in finding out what they do.
But I don't want to relate to the things. This is a game. I'm not interested in relating to.
You relating to the troll story?
Yeah.
You feel sympathy towards the characters.
I do. They are the only good guy.
They've done some horrific things.
Reactionary though.
Reactionary. Wow.
I was going to say, technically, Circle are good guys as well.
Technically, they are nature and the ley lines and all that jazz. And
apart from in the original Primal Mark 1 in the first book, they betray trolls. Apart from that.
Well, no, they're betraying trolls to save the world.
Yeah.
That's the thing. All Circle are interested in is stopping the Devourer worm coming back. They're trying, just keeping him busy enough on Arcane that he doesn't resurface.
Yes, and trolls, are the opposite in that respect, specifically here.
Yeah. But I suppose, as you said, it does boil down very much to almost the factions you feel a weird sort of connection with.
Yeah. My first faction that I bought, when I bought the Hordes Mark 1 book, Primal, I bought the Legion box set, I bought Thagrosh. I then went away on honeymoon with the Primal book and read Primal, and in the middle of honeymoon went, we have to find a shop in Wales, I must buy trolls.
See, I quite like the Legion and the Circle stuff, but that's just because Legion is horrific and scares the shit out of me. The idea that something's going to come along and spawn giant dragons and use me just basically as a host, kind of like aliens.
It's the fact that it does it from below, stealthily, and until it's far too late, a culture won't know that it's been infected.
Yep.
That's an interesting one of Legion. It's not a faction I'd play. But
they also like to just stick something in your heart as well at some point, and that's pretty fucking nasty.
I like that. I've had great fun trying to explain that concept to my 9-year-old because she really likes Legion. She's been reading the books, going, "Don't really understand what's happening here. Can you explain what's happening in this bit of the story?"
The thing about Legion is there's a massive juxtaposition between the beasts and the kind of lacking finesse. They're just killing machines, and then the Nis, which are very, finesse. They're all about style and substance, their armor and everything, and the intricate patterns.
They are about finesse, but they are a corruption of finesse.
Mm.
Yeah, they're not the Nis hunters. They're not Selena.
But I can get behind. It's why I can't get behind Scorn, because I don't. As I said, I didn't like the tortured elephant things. They don't match the Roman.
I don't like. So interestingly, and I'm coming back around to agreeing with you again. I don't like that they torture their animals.
It's interesting that you went for Roman there, Benj. That's not.
No.
It's one that I'd go for in the names, certainly.
Middle Eastern mixed with a bit of Japanese.
Yeah, no, I didn't get to finish my sentence. I was going to say a mix of Oriental, Middle East, and the Roman is just in the legions and.
Very Persian in the mix. In so much that you've got Xerxes versus Xerxes and stuff like that. It's interesting. Not interesting enough to play them. But also, I would actually go down almost exactly the same route as you. When I first saw the Agonizer, it was like, I don't think I could ever play this faction.
No, and I don't think of myself as a cuddly kind of. I don't rescue animals and stuff, but I just kind of go, I know what I like. So trolls in all of Hordes, trolls have a blood bond with the beasts. They engage with the beasts. It's dangerous to bring a dire troll onto the battlefield, but they do it and they engage with it, and I like the fluff around all of that. They are related by blood to these animals. They are the humanoid intelligent level, if you like. But then these pure blood trolls and dire trolls that they bring to the battlefield with them, it's a partnership. They're working together to save themselves, which is not quite true anywhere else in Hordes. I quite like that. All the others are more slaves. I know there's an element of circle that says they're not, but then some of those warp wolves, you read about the warp wolves, they're not always volunteers.
I looked at Circle and saw this immensely secretive inner cabal of druids that were just pretty much using everything in their power to sort of stop this catastrophe on the world. And if that meant that they had to force a couple of the Wolfsworn, the Tharn or Wolfsworn to become warp wolves, then that's what it took. It was a price worth paying because the world didn't end today.
Yeah, I do like Circle. I have got some.
So that was quite an interesting little mini topic.
Yeah, I thought just from the break, sort of I thought it was interesting as we were talking about who we're going to do for spelling it out. So I think that's a good segue into spelling it out.
And today we're doing one of your favourites, Kurt. It's Calandra.
Well, I thought as I played at the weekend, I thought let's talk about Calandra as we're starting again now into Mark 3, but also looked at the other Trollcasters of what some are very much the same. She is very similar, but she's got some interesting changes as well.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing we should probably start off with first is that she's now a Fury 8 Warlock.
Yay!
Which hurts me deep inside.
Well, there's one reason that hurts you, but we'll come on to that. But yeah, she is Fury 8, which is a beautiful thing.
I'll let you carry on from here if you want to, then, Kurt.
Yeah, we'll just go silent now.
Actually, interestingly enough, because the card's spells are in alphabetical order, the spell that you want to talk about or that you don't like is the last one. So we'll come to that last.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been Benj.
No, Benj, you staying. Come on, stay with us.
I'll stay, but
stay. Yeah, wait.
Good Benj.
I'm not
have a biscuit.
Have a biscuit, yeah. I'm not going through her whole stat line, but she is a bit of an old lady. She's Def 14, Armor 14. She's a little bit vulnerable, which is worth bearing in mind with her spell list as well. Her first spell is Befuddle, which is cost 2, range 10, and it is offensive. On a hit, you can immediately advance target enemy non-warcaster, non-warlock model up to 3 inches. Oh, and potentially turn it around. Effective models cannot be targeted by 3 strikes during this movement. A model can only be moved once per turn from a spot of Befuddle. So primarily, that is take big heavy, turn it around, so other things can attack it.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Nuts, absolutely nuts. Because the option for you to go, okay, I'm gonna move your heavy out the way. I'm gonna put it where I can kill it, or even things like, you know how you put that unit so it's at maximum coherency. I'm gonna take the leader and move it 3 inches to the right.
Yeah.
So half that unit isn't going to get any orders next turn. Oh, that's a shame. The amount of stuff you can do with this spell, it's so flexible. And
the only sort of downside to that is range 10, which sounds like a long way, and obviously you put bone grinders in that can be range 12. But trolls have no arc node at all, and so
that is the one serious downside.
It is. So we have no way of warding the surface. No, we have no way of extending that. So if she's within range 10 of one of your heavies, then I've got a bit of a problem. So it's a funny one to sort of rationalise, but very useful at different times though.
Have you got no end of activation movement shenanigans with animi in trolls, or?
No, not end of activation movement. No.
Shame.
No extra speed. Obviously, you can cast spells and then move. So there's that kind of if it happens. If you moved up aggressively within 10 of hers, you can befuddle you, then run behind said big dude out the way. So there's that. There's always that. Return it run the other way. If it's later game, perhaps. I think that's where it tends to come into its own. Is late game stuff, to be honest. So, her next spell is Bullet Dodger. This is always good. Cost 2, range 6. Why has it got a range? Don't know. Upkeep and not offensive. Target friendly faction model or warlock gains +2 defense and dodge. A model with dodge can move up to 2 inches immediately after an enemy attack that misses it is resolved, unless it missed while it's advancing. It can't be targeted by 3 strikes during its advance. So pretty much all game, every game, Bullet Dodger lives on Calandra to take her up to Def 16 because she really needs it.
Fantastic spell. There's no questions about that one. Magnus 2 has it. It's got even better in Mark 2 because originally it was only ranged attacks that you got the.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, only ranged attacks you got the defense
Yeah, it was.
against.
Yeah.
You always got the dodge part, but that was only ranged attacks. So now +2 static def,
Nice.
really
I did
good.
not see that.
And it's not just her you can put it on. Admittedly, a lot of the time it will be on her, but if you want to put a beast out front with bullet dodger on it, because of reasons you will see later, a Def 14 beast with dodge can be quite handy.
I like that plan.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought that one.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be careful with her if she's Def 14, but you're going to have other things, and there's lots of ways to protect her with other animi and stuff as well.
It's definitely a contextual thing. If you can find some way that you can completely block line of sight to her, fairly easily or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, then suddenly it's a whole different ball game.
No, I agree. It's very good. Her next spell is Misfortune. Cost 3, range 10. Power 12, and it's offensive. A model damaged by Misfortune becomes knocked down. So also, it's kind of a nuke offensive spell, but with a knockdown, and you kind of look at cost 3, a power 12. You think, oh, it's expensive, but she is a Fury 8 caster.
Yeah, well, it's depending on the model, it's either going to be just over a third to a half of her stack. It's a utility piece. You'll bring it out when you absolutely need to. It's not going to be something you'll be casting every turn.
No.
It's if you really need that magic damage or that knockdown, spend 3. I've hit you, boost the damage. Right, you knock down. Now my beast can go in.
Yep, absolutely. All champions. Yep.
Yeah, nothing to write home about.
No, but handy when you need it. Absolutely. Her next is Soothing Song. It costs 1. It's range self. Its area of effect is control, and it's not offensive, obviously. Remove up to 1 Fury point from each friendly living faction war beast currently in the spellcaster's control range. Soothing Song can be cast once per turn. I don't remember the last time I actually used this, but I do really like it.
Again, it's a good utility piece. It saw a lot of play in Mark II when Calandra was running very large battle groups of lights.
Why was that, I wonder?
Perhaps.
I might have Storm Trolls painted up, yeah.
I think in Mark III, that's still possible. I think with the increase in the size of the battle groups from War Machine, she might want to run maybe 1 extra beast at some point, but it will need to wait to see where the meta kind of sorts out to. Either way, it just means that you've got a little bit of leeway if you know you've messed up.
It's interesting, another level of Fury management, but I have to admit, within Trolls, I've never really stressed about Fury management the way that a lot of the forums, a lot of other Troll players do, because you go, well, we don't have the solos that can suck Fury off of beasts and stuff like some other factions do, but at the same time,
we've got whelps.
We've got whelps, but I tend to not worry about the thing that's going to Fury it. I mean, I tend to not worry about it. So if it's 1 left, tend to have high thresholds in Trolls, so that's quite nice.
I mean, they have gone down for Mark III.
They have, but they still are the higher end of threshold.
Yeah.
And but also you leave the Fury on the thing that's stood in front of somebody else's model. And if it Fury it frenzies and it's a light, then it's still going to get a boosted attack and damage. Not as much as you would, but it's just not the end of the world. I never have seen it as a massive risk just to overload everything. And
however, just an example, this could mean that you could send, let's say, an Axa or a Mauler in, spend the entire stack to kill something, pay 1 with Soothing Song, and open it up for transfers if you need.
That's true. Yeah, very true.
And I think that's a decent kind of clutch use of it.
I think that's the better use for it, to be honest, to open up transfers where you overcooked everything, but you then don't have anyone to transfer to. She could then, I think that's a very valid use.
Yeah.
So most people would say, if they're playing against Calandra, that they wish that was the end of her spell list, but she has got one rather nice, tasty thing left. She has a spell called Starcrossed. It costs 3, but let's face it, it's normally 2. range self, area of control. It lasts for 1 round, and it's not upkeepable.
I
Which is
heard
good
from a
because you can't
giant
lock it off.
crocodile that that's a pretty good spell.
Yeah, the giant crocodiles is Fury what 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, not Fury 8 though, is it?
No.
This is where it becomes really nice. I mean, this is what very nice. While this last spellcaster's control area, enemy models gain an additional die on attack rolls. Discard the highest of each roll. Starcross lasts for 1 round. 16 inches of Starcross is so nice.
It's roughly 33.5 inches across.
So good.
That's how nutso that is. It's a phenomenal spell. Because what you need to remember is, if you are a Mat 7 trooper attacking something that is Def 14, well, okay, let's simplify. If you need 7s to hit, if any one of your dice is a 1, when you roll them, the other 2 need to be 6.
Yep.
That's how bad that is a spell. It's basically a 1 in 6 chance that you will need a double 6 to hit. And just,
And then you combine that with shifting. So defensive trolls are generally slightly on the low side. Most infantry across the whole game are def 13 as a kind of that average baseline. With the heavier armor they drop. When they're lighter armor they go up. But the 13 is that line. For trolls that line sits at 12 because generally are slightly higher armor. So being able to shift that up. So if you can shift the defense of your trolls to 14. Which there are various ways. There's more defensive buffs for trolls in Mark 3 by a million miles than there were in Mark 2 or prior to that. There's so much more defense for trolls now, which segues so nicely with Starcross.
You're loving the segues, are you?
Yeah, oh yeah. I like segues. Segues are great fun.
What, the scooters?
it enables us to get around very quickly, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done segues. They're awesome. Yeah, so that's just awesome. And the other thing I was going to talk about as well, she has an ability which I didn't talk about before, which is very interesting. You made me think of it just now when you said about rolling ones. She has an ability called Fate Blessed. Because she's a gypsy queen and she screws with fate and dice, and Starcross is part of that, messing your opponent's dice up. She has Fate Blessed. When a friendly faction model makes an attack or damage roll during the activation while in this model's control range, this model can spend 1 Fury to allow the model to re-roll that roll. Each roll can only re-roll once as a result of Fate Blessed. That's slightly different wording to the Mark II, which is nice. So you can spend to re-roll a number of different things across your attacks, which are very nice.
Which combines very well with her feat.
It does. Her feat, as we're on I'm not going to read the fluff, it's called Good Omens, which is just such a nice name for a feat. And book, obviously, as well.
The nice and accurate prophecies of
Nice, of Calandra, yeah. When a friendly faction model rolls a 1 or a 2 on a die in an attack or damage roll while in Truth Says controlled range, it can re-roll the die. Each die can re-roll once as a result of Good Omens. However, you could also Fate Bless re-roll those same dice because you can only re-roll once for either mechanic. So you can choose carefully what you re-roll. If they're all rubbish, it can be fun to Fate Bless it and then see what happens and re-roll the 1s and 2s that come up from Good Omens them afterwards. Interesting mess you can get yourself into with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she can have a turn where everybody hits and does amazing damage, and she can the whole game make it really hard for you to hit her stuff. It's just nice. She's vulnerable, but she's awesome. I've always loved Calandra.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is as she was, but if anything better. And now she has sidekicks as well.
Just the fact that she's gained that extra fury just to make the Starcrossed bubble even bigger.
I mean, I'm tempted to see the Junior not as they kind of are her, but not Warlock version of her. They are more Junior versions of her, as something I put with other armies in order to gain a bit of her ability in other armies. But you put the Junior not in this army as well with Puppet Master floating around, you get even more rerolls of your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and actually, they've got some not quite fury management for hordes as well.
Yeah, they can reroll your fury test. Yeah, your threshold test. Yep, and heal as well. There.
Yep. Yeah, that's just
She's cool. Like her. Always liked her. I liked her. I mean, even before Elemental Evolutionism, I was playing her initial theme force against you. I believe we did at least once. Where I believe Doom Reavers couldn't hit anything for absolutely ages.
This is why I picked the example of Mat 7 and F14 because it was your caster and I got, was it 5 Doom Reavers on it plus
At
feet,
least. Yeah,
plus feet tokens, and not one of them hit.
Yep. I think I was crying with laughter by the end of that.
Yes, then you befuddled a Spriggan out the way and sent an Earthborn into Butcher.
Yes, that's familiar.
It was at a Theme Force tournament at Oxford.
Chris Cawthorne, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
She's great. I mean, and she's got more so, really. More so. Small rerolls because more Fury. Yeah. You want to make the most of it, Fury.
Filth.
Awesome. And the added little bonuses like the fact that champions now gain a defensive bonus against melee with no base to base, and you put them in a cloud and they gain extra concealment from the Glacier King. It's all just so nice. So much Def 14 there in Trials.
Well, I think at this point we need to move on from your reverie, and we can move on to any other business. So, as we're going from left to right on the row in front of me, Benj. Any other business?
I played Puerto Rico quite recently at the Board Games Cafe in Oxford, which was...
Is this Thirsty Meeples?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I went there with a few colleagues from work. It's a really interesting Germanish game.
Yeah, it's very much a Euro from what I understand.
I was going to say it's a Euro game.
And... But it's fun. I came second, so it's definitely up there because I can actually do quite well in it. And it just needs a bit of a revamp. But going on to that, Asmodee have pretty much bought out every single board game thing ever.
Yes. Are they the ones that are tied up with Fantasy Flight as well?
Yeah, they've.
And Days of Wonder.
Yeah. So they're reprinting old games like Citadels and trying to make them sort of more family-friendly with the art and direction and stuff. But they're also adding a tenner onto the pricing as well. So
it'll be interesting to see what they do with Citadels because that's now in a much larger box from what I've seen. For reference, Citadels was an older drafting-based game. Which came in a very small box with an expansion built in, and it was kind of neat. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think it needs some higher quality components because those coins are a bit naff.
Well, shut up and sit down. Say less components for more money. There's less in the box.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, so.
It'd be interesting to see where they go with that. Because I have seen a couple of games re-released recently. For instance, Griffin Games re-released For Sale, which is, if you ever want a very good, compact, turbo version of Monopoly, For Sale is the game for you. That used to come in quite a large box, enough that I've got about 5 different games in there that I take to conventions with me. They've now released that in a smaller box that's about the size of a pack of playing cards for much less money. So to see Asmodee going for bigger box, fewer components, more money is it's definitely interesting.
Cool.
I have yet to play in a tournament yet in Mark III, and that's about my only other business.
Are you planning to go to Jun's Pro Tournament?
Jun's Pro Tournament? Is that like sponsored golf tournament or something?
Well, we used to have Jun's Pro Tips. This is Jun's Pro Tournaments.
Wow.
When is it? When is the next one?
Let me just check the date. I believe it's in September.
I think I might have to.
So look.
There.
What's the crowd like then?
It's me and Richard Dean and other people.
I
don't know what you want from me.
Well, I might do. It depends. I'm buying a house, so everything's busy at the moment.
Yeah, you always seem to be buying a house, Benj. God, it's what you never talk about.
Yeah, I'm literally a real estate mogul, so it's what I spend my time doing, just buying
Needs must then, really. Yeah.
random houses. Yeah, but I'm done with any other business. So.
Okay, Kurt.
Um,
For you?
I talked about the tournament that I went and played in. I've got trolls all over my table where I'm trying to. They are kind of table worthy, but they're not quite finished. So I've got the Junior Knot. I want to try and finish them up on my painting table. I've got the Fire Eaters that I want to try and finish. Champions are there, but that's because I'm not happy with their base markings. Yeah. Oh, and a slag troll, because as I said earlier on, I've realised how amazing the slag troll is. I need to get some more of those.
Slag troll.
Slag. So I've got my old blue one that's got World Warden arms in his hands as weapons, because I bought some circle and had some spare arms. So he's got them wielding them. So I want to paint him as one of my white trolls to go with the new albino scheme. Yeah. So yeah, more trolls painting, but with the aim of getting. Well, I suppose technically I am fully painted for next weekend up in Cardiff, but I want to get them looking a bit nicer than they are.
For reference as well, I've just checked. The Bristol Steamroller Series final heat will be the 10th of September, starting at 9 AM. That's at Bristol Independent Gaming. You can find the post on the UK War Machine and Hordes Facebook group, and it'll tell you how to pay there.
Cool.
I believe it's a tenner.
Excellent.
I can't confirm that. Ah, there we go. £10 on the day, or £8 is paid beforehand.
Excellent.
So, having been to some of John's tournaments before, they're very well run, and it's a good day out. Bristol Independent Gaming's a good venue, nice little shop there as well. Yeah, not much more to say. I'm already qualified for the final, so I may turn up again and just play absolute junk at people.
Yay.
So.
Mercs. I believe that's called Mercs now, isn't it?
Well, if we, yeah, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
I keep baiting you. It's great.
Are you the new pro Merc on like the UK scene?
God, no.
Mark 3.
No, that's probably still Chris Murdoch. I mean Kev Bryant.
Oh, the love lost between those two.
He'll like that one. Oh dear. No, I think Mark III Mercs need a lot of consideration, and I don't think they're as settled as some of the other factions are going in, because people just aren't used to having access to everything. And
everything.
Yes.
It's confusing. I'm there with you on that. I'm finding it with Trolls it's confusing. It's kind of, I was used to playing very theme-focused, narrow vision lists, and I'm now going, there aren't any of those. Play what you like. And by the way, almost everything's good now. And I'm like, I don't know. It's taking me a while. Just kind of, but what was finding old favourites that are a bit rubbish. So Mark II Champions took such a hit going into Mark II. And now they're amazing again, like they were at the start of Mark 1. So I'm like, right, I'm having them. I want them back on the table. That's been quite nice.
Have you got to the Digmies yet?
No, I read them. I don't want to read them again.
No one does. No one does.
I did lost Point Blank and stuff. It's just kind of why.
Anyway, to go on to my any other business. I was actually at an anime convention this last weekend, and in the evenings did some board gaming. So we managed to finally crack open the copy of Splendor that I bought on the recommendation of Mr. James Brown, and it's a fantastic game. It's a game where you acquire jewels to buy developments, to get more jewels, to satisfy customers, and there's a certain amount of frustration because you're all buying from the same pool of things. So you're sitting there, you've got your next 2 or 3 turns planned out, and then both of those things go before it's your turn again, and then you turn around and stab whoever took them.
What, literally?
In the face with a rake. Yes.
Wow. Wow, I like that game.
Yeah.
Sounds violent.
So Splendor, very reasonably priced, very high quality components, a very nice feeling, like a casino poker chip type things. The resources.
You also went to the Star Wars Celebration, I believe, didn't you, as well? Which
Yes.
is not very War Machine-y, but
I did go to Star Wars Celebration. It was a very nice event. Some people were a bit disappointed because of the sheer length of the queues. And I will say my body did not thank me for waking up at 4 a.m. every single morning to get in the queues for the panels I wanted.
I did watch. I watched the Mark Hamill panel on YouTube. That's amazing.
Being able
Yeah, I watched that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Being able to get into the Star Wars Rebels panel to see the Thrawn reveal was truly fantastic.
Awesome.
Not only did we have the Thrawn reveal, but then once they turned the cameras off for the live stream, we got to see the first 2 episodes of the new series.
You son of a bitch.
I like the trailer that they've released alongside that. The very long trailer for season 3 looks very good.
Yeah.
But you also see what that's reminded me of something else I did. But you also met Mr. Jamie Bell, didn't you, face to face?
Yes. Friend of the show, Jamie Bell. One of
Lost Hemisphere fame.
Yeah, one of the main hosts of Lost Hemisphere. Was over in the UK, and he decided to pop along to Star Wars Celebration, and we had a good bit of a chinwag one day and bumped into each other on another. He certainly seemed to be enjoying his time in the UK, and I know that he informs me that you are a massive girl, Kurt.
He has drawn that conclusion, having met me in person as well. I went and met him for lunch on my birthday, in fact, actually, on his last day. They decided to have a chill out last day, so I went and met him at his hotel up in Hampshire, and yeah. I love
you met him at his hotel. He gave you his hotel room number, maybe some tea in your hand.
Yeah, one thing came to another, and I'm apparently a massive girl. Yes.
Because you have pink drinks with umbrellas in them.
Apparently so. Yeah. Apparently so. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that's possibly going to be everything wrapped up for this episode. So, there's no Alex. That's interesting. Who does this?
I'm sorry, we can't actually leave. We have to stay.
We can't end this.
Yeah.
There's no way to end it.
Oh dear.
I'll do it.
Okay.
You've been listening to Elite Cadre, the Holden War Machine and other gaming need podcast thing. That's good as Alex, isn't it?
That's good enough.
Yeah, I've been Kurt.
I've been Mike.
I've been Benj.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Nick.
There we go. All wrapped up, and yeah, Benj, we're half an hour quicker than normal.
Wow, that's good.
So without Alex, we can get anything done.
Alex slows everything down.
Including decent conversation.
We had actual debate.
Yeah.
Healthy debate. Not an argument, a healthy debate.
That was actually a very interesting discussion, and I have the sore throat to prove it.
It's the fact that it was kind of random and born out of the break was quite cool. I quite like that.
Yeah.
So it was like a proper podcast.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hang on. How few, imitation podcasts do you know who've managed to get to episode 71?
70. I can't believe we're at 71.
We're at 71.
Did Boosted Damage get to 100?
Oh, they got past 100. We are,
Yeah, but not very far. But not very far past 100.
Oh no, not very far past 100. We are actually coming up to the 5-year anniversary.
Wow.
5 years for that many episodes. It's not.
Well, a few hiatus. This is.
Yeah, we had the extended hiatus when I moved from the Midlands to Basingstoke, and it didn't look like I'd be playing War Machine. Then we had another extended hiatus while my leg destroyed itself.
Oh yeah, there was that hiatus.
And continues to do so to this day. I now have some lovely compression bandaging on that has reduced the size by about 3 inches over the last 2 days. So that's been lovely. I actually do have to tell you this story, even if you're grossed out. So,
I've heard it before. Most of it.
On my leg, there is a line where 2 bits of flesh are trying to knit together. And while I was at the doctor's, the nurse sort of picked up this probe and kind of, okay, just if this gets painful at all, just tell me, and put the probe into the wound.
Okay.
And kept going. Managed to get 3.5 inches of the probe inside my leg without me feeling a thing.
Oh my god! Ah!
There is a massive void inside my leg that they are going to fill with, and wait for it, medical grade honey.
So, is that to lure the ants out of your leg? Hang on, Archer. That's how you get ants.
It is how you get ants, yes. So now,
Okay. So I know, unfortunately, through work and through spending time working with tissue viability, that's called a sinus, isn't it? It's horrible. You think someone just in your face? Is any void or area of the body that can't be easily measured?
He called it an ulcer.
Oh wow!
So yes, apparently, apparently I need to, for the next 6 weeks at least, go along twice a week to have it redressed in compression bandages, to hopefully push
somebody who works for me got her leg crushed by a cow at Christmas, and got a hematoma in her thigh. So a kind of minor version of what you've been going through, really, but nowhere near to the extent. And had her leg drained about 4 times, lots of physio. Eventually they gave up and then said, right, we're going to open your leg, we're going to carve out all of the decaying tissue that's probably borderline necrotic, and then we're going to leave it open to heal before we stitch it back up again. And that sounds gross, sounds like it was never going to work, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
She's so much better. Back on her feet within a week. She's back to work a day early and was on her feet and is so much better.
Well, I will say the difference between my leg when it was completely full of fluid and when they put the compression bandaging on. The compression bandaging, it's now 3 days later. The compression bandaging is now slipping down to my ankle.
Oh, wow.
But was on immensely tight when it went on. It has pushed all the fluid back into my body, and yeah, it still needs some more work, and I'm going to have it redone on Friday, but the difference is huge. It's a pain in the arse to walk in. But,
right, I unfortunately need to go, Mike, so I will...
We're done with the podcast anyway, so Ben, nice to speak to you again, and...
pleasure.
Good. That was actually, I feel actually that was a good show.
That's good. Yeah. Ben, I'm glad you're feeling more positive.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers, you later.
Bye.
Good.
Yes, I can't stay too much longer myself because...
No, normally I just go to bed because I keep staying up too late. I'm not tired. The trouble is, we do this. I am the most wide awake ever after finishing this at like 11:45, going, I'm all awake. What do I do now? Never sleepy tired at the end of this, ever.
You do have to take like 10 minutes to wind down first.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, then I will love you and leave you, Kurt. So,
cool. We shall, yeah. I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
Yeah. See ya.